couple, three more people
close wherever we're strategically sitting.
Okay.
Three more
Start
people.
6:30. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, instead of doing defer tonight, it was voted on to do, we can have a moment of silence. So as of now, we'll do a moment of silence. Pray to yourself. Okay.
I hate to be a stickler, but I don't know that it was voted on. I think our village solicitor told us last month that it was the mayor's call. He runs the meeting.
Well, he said that we had to be in agreement with it. We asked it.
We discussed it, but it wasn't voted on. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, it was discussed.
It was discussed.
And all the council agreed with it, whether you say whether they did or whatever, but roll call.
Scott?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Dan?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Okay, everybody had time to read the minutes. We'll need approval if they have had time to read them. We'll need a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Joyce?
Yep.
Rob?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Steve?
Abstain.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay, Scott, on the financial report, do you want to?
Okay, excuse me. The bank reconciliation, reconciled date is 4/30/2017. Okay, the adjusted bank balance as of 4/30/2017 is $1,625,018.65. On the checks and payments listing for all the checks that were written for the month. For April 2017, we spent $24,337.14. Okay, the revenue status, excuse me, that's right now. For general fund, we have $178,162.33. Street construction, maintenance, and repair, we have $17,437.18. State highway fund budget balance is $1,664.52. Parks and recreation, we have $15,634. Pacific levy fire equipment, budget balance right now is $8,127.35. Water operating fund, we have $68,799.60. Sewer operating fund, we have $85,672.77. Sewer bond debt service, we have $80,000 in there for that. Hank Hauser Scholarship Trust, we have interest came to roughly $185, and the Graham Scholarship Fund, we have $150.
Okay. Any discussion on that?
Questions, concerns?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Ron,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Dan.
No.
Okay.
Please sign that, just pass it on.
At this time, I am now going to turn the meeting over to the President of the Council, Scott Harrison. You should take over the meeting. You want the gavel, Scott?
Yeah, please. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read a letter to the council, and just kind of go over some stuff quoting out here and try to address some issues and stuff like that. The first thing I want to respond to is Kim Kracher's concern of the misstatement on the letter to the auditor of the state dated December 14th, 2016.
Can you speak up?
This letter is relating to the audit reform for the year 2015 and 2014 respectively. As noted in the auditor's report, there was a finding of 3 misstatements in 2014. One was in the special revenue fund that was put into the property tax account and should have been in intergovernmental funds. The other 2 related to the scholarship funds that were posted to redemption of principal and should have been posted as interest. In 2015, we had to reclassify a posting of the intergovernmental posted to property tax. So all the misstatements is saying that we responded to auditor said there was some money was in the wrong account number, so we had to correct it. You know, it was basically 4 mistakes in those 2 years. The next issue, I just want the village to understand, on the Ohio Sunshine Law compliance cost to date for 2017, I think it's important for the village to understand that there is a cost in manpower and lost productivity to comply to the needs of the requesters. To date for 2017, John has about roughly 12 hours, Angela has about 15 hours, and Carolyn has 4 hours devoted to this project. So I figure, looking at their hourly wages, we got about $560.78 in costs so far this year for compliance. And if we could have devoted this labor to the scanning of the documents, we would have much closer to getting the online project done for the village webpage. Now, I do have another concern with having a request for getting the credit card numbers and expiration dates, even though this is the law, it's putting the village at risk for a card fraud. Cybersecurity is hard enough keeping village accounts safe, let alone giving out account numbers so somebody can post them online or whatever, and basically, somebody can use those account numbers and charge stuff. This law. Okay. Discussion of resolution 2014 village Bettsville credit card policy. Legal definition of resolution, official expression of the opinion or will of the legislative body. This is a living document, can be changed and modified at discretion of the council. This document is a guide to the use of the village credit card to conduct the village business. This concern that has been brought to the council is that the credit cards was used for lunches at Blue Eagle for crossroad recipients, basically they were used to do village cleanup and yard work as they were doing community service. There was no cost or labor to the village, and the mayor came to the council to see if they would support the cost of meals for crossroad kids. The council agreed to do this. Council meeting structure change. Starting the next council meeting in June, the council will be requesting that any village resident that would like to discuss any issue with them be put on the agenda, a meeting agenda, and we'd like to know what the topic is so we have time to research and get the needed response documents ready for the meeting. This should help with a timely resolution of concerns, also make the meeting more productive. We request that at least a week before the next meeting to petition for the time on the meeting agenda.
I have a question, please.
Yes.
You stated that mayor came to council and discussed or asked about
Yes.
the credit cards being used for payment. Do you have a ordinance number or a date or even a month when he came to council with that? Because I sure don't remember it.
You don't remember a lot of stuff,
Well,
Stan.
well then somebody should be able to find it. Is there an ordinance or a date?
It's not an ordinance.
No ordinance. Okay. That's the way it is then.
That's what it is.
One last question on this letter to council. The second paragraph, correct me if I'm wrong, and I may well be, it seems to me that that's a left-handed way of asking folks not to ask for information or ask for copies of information.
I think it's important that people understand there's a cost to do these things.
Well, yeah, that's
But, you know,
right.
I mean, the issue comes down to that.
But I'm just asking, are we asking people to back off or not ask for as much?
No,
Okay.
No.
nobody said that.
Well,
You know, they had the right, the requesters had the right to do it.
we
There's also-
state hours and how much money it's cost, yet I still to this day don't know how many hours Angela puts in a month. So you're stating numbers and how much it costs when council and the public doesn't even know how many hours a week she works and how many hours a week. I've asked that numerous times, and the only semblance of an answer is she works when she needs to get the work done. That doesn't tell me a whole lot, but yet we're complaining about how much it costs and how much time she's putting in. I don't know if she's putting in 5 hours a week or 30 or what, and I don't think today she can tell us that. And I think we need to know that if we're going to address this.
You're entitled to your opinion. I have no problem.
So, I know it won't get a second, but I make a motion that next month when we come to council meeting, between Angela and her supervisor John, they have a written idea of her typical hours a week. That's all I'm asking. In a regular month, or maybe even for the last couple of months, or how many hours a week or month she anticipates working the next several months. I make a motion, and you all can just sit there with your thumbs up your nose and say, no, I don't want to back it, but it's on record that I'm asking for that information. Okay. No second. No surprise.
Okay, we're back to...
Is this something we need, that you just read, that we need to make a motion or do anything with?
No.
Because I-
No, it's just a letter to
So,
council.
what is it?
It's just a
What did it say?
letter.
It says a letter to council. It's my express view. So,
So it has no teeth, there's really no...
what does it say? Was there any ramifications if you didn't do something? It doesn't say anything there.
No, that's what I'm asking, we're not gonna vote on it, or... So we don't know if you're the only one that thinks this, or if everybody else agrees. I'd be curious how many council people agree with this on record.
I think we all do.
Oh, not all.
Well,
Should
you
we
don't
take a
agree
vote?
with anything.
Should we take
do.
a vote?
No.
Oh, we shouldn't take a vote?
Christ.
Okay. Once again, fly by the seat of your
Why don't
pants.
you just start running the meetings?
I'd be happy to.
Yeah, oh, I know you
Trust
would.
me.
Yeah, right. Right.
Just so you understand, it's my express opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you can agree or disagree with it.
And same way with last, when Rob read his,
So,
you didn't ask for a vote for that. That was his opinion.
okay, let's stay focused on the finance budget and audit now. So what's number...
Oh, didn't we miss the last 3 bullet points to paragraph 1 for the meeting agenda?
Nope.
Like special guest?
We didn't have one.
Do you have any special guests?
Visitors'
Not
comments?
public comment.
Why not public comment?
At the end of the meeting, it's on there.
Look at the back of their,
Yeah,
Agenda.
read your thing.
Read your agenda.
So they need to wait till the end of the meeting to
Yep.
comment.
Yep.
We have the right to control the meeting, and we,
Yeah.
because before...
When was the last time we ever did that?
Well, because we have lost control of the meetings because the people in here won't let us conduct our own business, so that's why we changed it to the
I
end.
see. And
Yeah.
did y'all meet and make that decision on your own?
Nope.
I didn't hear we were moving that to the end. Did y'all meet or call each other on the phone?
We don't
How
have
did
to
that
tell
come
you.
up?
It's a-
Who made the decision?
Just a legal point of order.
Who made the
Actually,
decision to move public comment to the end of meeting is my question.
A legal point of order. The mayor actually controls the meeting, so he can set it up as he desires.
I see.
It's not council.
So each meeting could be different.
Could be.
sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try this again, okay. Angela met with the Old Fort Bank rep a couple of weeks ago to discuss a program they had called Cause to Pay, which is a fraud detection to all council members have a copy about the receipt. Anytime Angela issues any payments, she will be submitted to a report to Old Fort Bank with when payments arrive at the bank. they will match up to the report, and if they do not match, they will be suspended until they can get voted banned and receive a confirmation to all payment. The cost is $50 a month with no limits to the amount of checks. And we'll have, if you guys are interested, we have to have a motion to approve this program. It's basically a fraud protection program, administered through the Fort Banking Company. And if you want me to, I can read the rest of this motion to you.
Might as well, so everybody knows.
I'll read it, so. Check pause or pay features. Identify fraudulent transactions by comparing check clearing the bank to an important check file. A service that matches the check numbers, dollars, amount, pays of each check presented for payment against a list of checks previously imported by you. The client imports a file of issued checks to the bank each day checks are written. When those issued checks are presented for payment at the bank, they are compared electronically against the list of imported checks. All three components of the check must match exactly or it will not pay. When a check is presented that does not match the imported list, it becomes an exception item. Image of the check can be reviewed through online banking. The client reviews the image, instructs the bank to pay or return the check. Reverse pause or pay will provide an electronic file of paid checks to proceed with another system. ACH pause or pay features identifies fraudulent transactions by comparing ACH entries clearing the bank to an approved ACH list. When an ACH item is presented that does not match the approved list, it becomes an exception item. Benefits: minimizes fraud potential which will give you peace of mind. Identify any exception items for return before they clear your account. Protects you before the items impact your checking account. Data mapping for pause or pay. This issue check format includes CSV, text, delimited, fixed, and XLS. The information needed in the file is issued, dates of checks, check numbers, paid, amount of the checks issued. It does not matter what order the information is or in, and we can map to your files or layout. And the current structure right now, checking account service charge is $58.25. It's not earning any interest. The sweep interest is $181.86. So basically net $123.61. Proposed account structure would be $50 ECR based on $100,000 left in the checking with the offset service charge, and then $169.36. So to roughly monthly savings of $45.75 a month.
Oh, this goes to a Fort Bank? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, to Old Bank.
Maybe a point, because we did it.
Low balance per period was average lender balance itemized enhanced service charge. So it looks like it was $51.75, and that was $430.17. So what do you guys think?
Can I ask a quick question? Is what you just went over bullet points 3 and 4 on page 2 in new business? I'm losing track of the agenda here. Did we skip all of old business?
No, I'm right now going through financial, we're in the financial budget and audit. This is stuff that we're trying to figure out what we need to do here, so.
But are those the items of bullet point 3 and 4 under new business on page 2? Just trying to keep up here.
Yeah, it would appear
Yeah,
that
it was under new business.
Okay, so we went from first bullet point on
Knock it off.
reports to committees to new business, bullet points 3 and 4. I'm just trying to keep up with your agenda that our mayor apparently shuffled. Okay, so we're on page 2 right now. I'll try to keep up.
Just bring it up in the other part. Yeah, just wait till.
Okay.
We bring it back up.
I'll bring it back up. Police Department.
Melissa.
Melissa? Nothing to report? Fire Department, Mike?
Let's see. 10 calls for the month, brings us to 45 for the year, so we're up. I don't know what percentages we're up, but we're up quite a bit for this year, so. I have the firefighter that got hurt on an accident scene, took him to Tipping Bridge to get checked out, and gave Scott a report. If you guys want to see that, you can see that it's already been turned over to this comp, so we should be getting something in the mail for all that. He's fine, there's no injuries, he just had a strain in his leg, so just want to make sure, double check, just so it didn't come back on us later down the road. I do have an EMT, or one of our firemen taking the EMS class, another EMT, or firefighter person doing it for the cadet program. We're also preparing for to get the truck prices and also get stuff out for the levy. So, won't be long, we'll put the signs out and stuff like that, to get ready for the levy, so. And then also, I didn't know if you guys see that number 1 there or not. Jacob Snow wants to know if he can have a graduation party at the station, but let me know, alcoholic beverages or anything like that, so if I get the vote on that, other than that, I have nothing else. So I just need somebody to say yes.
I have no problem with it.
Anything else on the issue, Matt?
Nope.
So Angel, you'll be getting that letter from Workers' Council, but just let me know and help go on.
Clean up?
I only sent one letter this week.
Any other concerns? Water, sewer, street? John?
You won't bring up that part letter in your part.
Oh,
Okay, you can talk about that on the part.
Couple sign things, Mike?
Yes, okay, on water, we had well number 3 pulled, cleaned, and found that after running tests on the pump, it was weak. It was about 9 years old, so we went ahead and replaced that pump. So everything in that well has been cleaned and replaced. At the sewer plant, everything's cleaned, and both sides are opened back up, and it's in full operation. Now, I'm gonna kinda jump around a little bit, because Scott had a couple things on old business that I had to bring up right now. The traffic light, could not find a used mast, so now the bill would be $26,000.70. That is with everything new other than the control panel.
And we use existing control panel?
Yes, because everything in that is only a few years old. When that neutral dropped uptown and fried everything, that's all brand new. So that's something to think about.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, so I mean, the council needs to kind of think about what we want to do.
Well, before we decide
Yeah.
on that, let me finish with the street stuff here, okay? Streets, I got a couple different estimates to try and see how M&B's doing with pricing, because we always go with M&B, but they are the cheapest that I got. I got 2 estimates here. To do Thomas Street from Emma through the cul-de-sac, to pave it is $10,500 and to mill it is $44.27. Emma Street from the tracks to the limits is $13,775 to pave and $58 to mill it.
is that all the way from State?
No, that's from the railroad tracks to
Railroad
the
tracks?
limits.
Okay, okay.
Hol-Acre Drive, $7,500 and $30 to mill. David Street, down by your place and in front of yours, from Sullivan to Monroe, $5,040 and the mill $42.40. In Franklin, the patch spot has really dropped from a lateral, $1,200 to pave it, $700 to mill it, for a grand total of $56,277.
How much we got in the account?
We've got money to pay for it, but if we're gonna do the traffic light, I don't wanna get rid of everything we got. I'd like to dump Hol-Acre off of there and save the 10 grand off of that and put it towards traffic light so we don't use up everything we got. So those are two decisions for you all there, if you wanna pass around those and look at. The top one's estimate for the traffic light, and the bottom two are paving estimates.
You get a chance, probably just make some copies, that's why. Track that, so.
Scott,
Pardon?
I got a question. We talked last month about if we have to put fencing all the way around the quarry, is that part of that?
That'll come up in park when you
Okay,
guys
yeah.
talk about that, because that's, that, we don't have to do. That's our insurance company right there, that letter is from us.
That's fair enough, I mean.
I got an estimate to get the manhole replacement done, and I know you guys approved me to get it done, but I wanted to let you know that an outfit out of Tiffin come back with an estimate for Tice Construction, $11,663, which is about $400 underneath the $12,000 that the engineer's estimate was.
So when could they start that project then? Do they have a?
Well, I just want to make sure I got a go-ahead on it before I sign it, and then I'll find out from there, as soon as possible, and then we can figure out what we're gonna do with aerating that lift station in Bergen. So if I got the okay to go ahead with that, we can get that out of the way now, if that's okay with everybody to go ahead and get that.
Well, it's like it's under, we knew kind of where the number was at, so I mean, it's under what the budget amount or what we originally, engineering costs were, so I think that's, we've got to deal with it, because if we don't, we're gonna have a disaster out there, we're gonna have.
Correct, and that's just the first half of it, remember, it's 24 total.
Right.
That other outfit will have to come in and seal them all, line them, so. Then we're back to the utility billing. We definitely need to do something with that.
You mean because the software we're talking about, or?
That yes, the CMI company that had originally quoted me $30,000, that young lady is not with them anymore, and another guy come around, and he's got it down to $24,468. I honestly have not even talked to Angela about the water budget, because I just kinda got this stuff. But, you guys can look at that stuff too.
This is the software for.
Oh, the
milling.
software.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And is there anybody else that we can compare this to, anything that we can do to make sure it's what we're gonna do? It's still a lot of money.
I gotta get a hold of that governmental system out of Columbus yet. But the biggest expense is the server.
Yeah.
That's the biggest expense. So, but I'm still working on that, but we're gonna have to do something soon, so.
Yes.
That's all I have. So it's
About
up to
the-
you guys, what you wanna do with the streets and the traffic.
We're talking no business or no.
Yeah, if we're gonna do the traffic light though, I'd like to drop Hol-Acre off there, that's not that bad. My goal was to try and get all the small streets done, cause then we'll be down to nothing but Elm, Sullivan, and Monroe. That hasn't been done within the last 10 years. So that's what I was trying to do, but I don't wanna deplete everything we have, so. Bart?
Think they're gonna have a cleanup this weekend?
May 6th.
Did they? May 6th, okay. I started it today. About drowned and roasted.
She was anxious.
Well, as John said, I guess if we can get by with putting signs so that we don't have to fence the whole thing in, so that's saving a lot of money and a lot of
Yeah.
hassles right there. since it is a large body of water, it's concerning, because I was wondering how the other municipalities and stuff around this area dealt with it, because they have, like, you know, Fremont or other places that have their water systems, which, you know, just bigger, so I didn't see, they didn't have those fenced in, so I didn't quite understand how we were going to protect it, but.
Did Rick get a copy of that?
Copy of what?
We give him your letter from back there.
Oh, sure.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, John.
Okay. Zoning, one of the issues I'm aware of is contact me about any issues.
I think they just, but John wants
John, you know anybody in zoning, some other, nobody's contacting me about any issues?
I mean, I wrote a couple for that one.
Okay, well, we go to old business, park annexation. Maybe you can update us a little bit, Rick, if you could. I know you had some luck.
Oh, yeah, I had sent that letter to Switzerland, because that's where the conglomerate is based, and I actually sent it to their legal counsel, and it bore fruit. They have a gentleman by the name of Mark Love, who's Swiss, who has started, I talked to him on the phone, it started about 2 months ago. It's the same address where I originally sent it last fall, but I've got a name, and rather than just legal, real estate department, I have a suite number and everything else. He asked that I resend everything to him, which I have. So corporate in Switzerland is aware, and it's worked its way down to Mark Love, and it's promising since he's Swiss. He said he will have his committees review it all, and then he will get back to me. So,
At least we're on the right track.
so we have a response.
Yay.
I did not get a letter from them, just a phone call. But then I was hoping for some Swiss stamps. But
Let's hope, yeah.
collection.
This has been going on for a while. I mean, I've been gained quite a bit in the last year and a half, so
Yeah.
so we'll get this thing resolved by the end of the year. Okay. Well, I want to bring up the fireworks for the park, so I know we got the fireworks, but there's a lot of details that have not been worked out as far as making sure that we have police coverage and all other things that we need to do to make sure that we make this thing function. And the cost, and regularly some cost involved, we got to be aware of that we're have to pay, and hopefully we can get offset some of that, people paying the right hours for the car load or whatever coming in, so any thoughts or any concerns or things that we need to address that, because we're getting pretty close. I mean, we only got a couple meetings in this here, you know, so.
I was hoping Brandon would be here tonight, and then we could
We got one meeting.
Yeah.
see if he could, we'll get with him and see if, he can get that set up for us. Because he used the ones last year, and I'm sure he can probably get them back, so.
Yeah, so what did it kind of cost us last time?
I think we paid him $20 an hour.
And we're gonna open the park at
8 o'clock in the
8 o'clock in the
morning.
morning, let them start coming in then or whatever.
Yeah, and we'll start charging.
So how
it.
are we gonna do that? We're gonna have to man it somehow
Yeah.
around the clock, right? So we're gonna have to get the volunteers to man the whatever to collect the money and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And we're gonna have reduced parking this year as well, because now we've taken those other 2 spots that we used to use. You know, we've got bird houses and all that stuff, wild grass, where we lose those spots, so everybody's gonna be focused either going into the main gate or the
Or the one on the
or
other
one
side,
to the south.
yes.
If we decided to, is it only gonna be the one day? You know,
Yes,
we haven't
yes,
decided just
yes,
one day?
one day.
Okay. So there'll be no camping or anything?
No.
No, we're not gonna do anything with any of the vendors or any of that stuff, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at, so. Yeah, that's probably another thing we gotta make sure who handles permit, getting the permit for the fireworks, and then, I guess the other,
Jimmy will have it. Jimmy Lang gets all that
I'll
stuff.
just say, we gotta make sure that, I mean, really, it's the police chief or the fire, and the fire chief both have to sign.
They both have to sign it, yes, I know.
Make sure there's no police force, it's shared.
right, okay. Yeah, so we need to figure out what we're going to have, so.
The insurance is one of the.
Is there any insurance issues that we?
No,
did
no
we talk to Joe or anything on
no,
that, so? Okay.
We're okay.
Rick, where are we at with the police contract then? that's probably the next kind of issue we need to talk about, it's been kind of floating out here for a while.
I talked to Bill Echoberry. He had actually, he had posted the position. He wanted to post it first. He had no response. He posted it again. He had 5 applicants. He's going through interviews now. Then, once he's got somebody, he will get together with Derek and Rhonda for the Sycamore-based contract. And he said from his end it would be short.
Short contract, I mean,
So, and then once he has that, he'll get it to me immediately, and then I'll bring it to council. So,
you know, if we gotta have a special meeting for that or something like that, I mean, depending on when all the pieces fall together.
I'll let you know as soon as he does that, but he's...
Yeah. I mean, this has been going on for quite a while, we need to get resolution too, and get it
Mhm.
through, so, well.
At this point, is Officer Bell still our acting police chief?
Who?
Brandon Bell?
Oh, yes,
He is, okay.
hasn't resigned, that he's basically gives notice and he's still staying on to get this thing implemented.
Resolved.
Melissa's still on.
Is Brandon, I hope he is if he's working, is he being paid anything per month or per hour or?
He isn't turning in any pay.
He's what?
He's not turning in any pay. He
He's
said
not,
he
not paying
don't-
anything right now, he's doing it without pay.
Yeah, he's doing it without pay.
Do we know when the last time he received any compensation from the village?
We'll have to go back and look at the financial
That's
record.
right,
Last time we
yeah.
did, I can't tell you off the top of my head, we're gonna go back and do some research on it, so. I don't know
Okay.
off the top of my head. Okay. Any other questions about that then? Okay. I just wanna bring up remove, you got that all figured out what trees you're gonna take down or any other ones we're gonna take down, is that all finalized then?
Just the, there's a couple dead ash trees in the play area of the park that gotta come down.
Okay.
And, there's one in the alley up behind the filling station, it's got the alley all messed up and whatnot. And they were actually supposed to be in today to start on that, but the wind texted me and said he wasn't coming, so.
They were here, weren't they? They went by my, come down from here, around the corner. Yeah, they were here, yeah. So it must've been too breezy.
Okay.
I think we probably, do we have to vote on the traffic light thing? to
Yeah, I think we
Change that
should, yeah.
money to 20, from, what was it? Yeah, we gotta do that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll make a motion to move forward with getting the traffic light, and as we discussed, I'm going to use the Hol-Acre, you know, not doing that, to offset the cost to the traffic light, because that's something that needs to get done. Those other ones in pretty bad shape. If we don't do something pretty soon, it's either gonna snag somebody, or then we'll have a different liability issue, right?
Mhm.
That's what we're responsible for. We got a cable across there, so we
Yep.
catch a semi or something, or,
I'll second it.
Who's second? Bill?
Bill,
John, how much was that?
$26,070.
Scott?
yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Dan?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Maybe I missed it, excuse me, John, is there a priority of which streets first yet or not yet?
As for,
The paving,
no, we're gonna get all of them done.
but do you have a priority of which ones first, or does it matter? Not gonna do them all in one day, I'm sure.
Oh, no, I have no idea.
All right,
I have no idea. It depends on what equipment they bring when. I mean, we're not gonna get 2 done tomorrow and then the rest of them done at the end of, I mean, when they come, they're gonna do them all when they're here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They'll do them all at once.
maybe I'll try and keep up to speed with that, because I'd like to learn more about the Thomas Street. When that's ready to be looked at, I'd like to be involved in that.
Well, it's already been.
Is there no more paving to be done on Thomas?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna do it from Emma.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, when it is, I'd like to be, if you can make a note, or I'll try to keep in touch. When they start that Thomas Street area, I'd like to be involved in that.
How much was that paving, Bill, John?
That, we gotta subtract Hol-Acre off of.
You're gonna take 10,000 out of the Hol-Acre off.
Yeah, take 10,000 off.
It'll be 46 and
Yeah.
something.
a little over 10.
Piles of paper, you lose track of it,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Hol-Acre was, yeah.
It was like 7,500, the
Yeah.
$3,030 for the milling,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, yeah, it makes sense to do it that way, I think.
Yeah.
And then we can just get something accomplished here, so.
Yeah.
Pardon?
That alley back there off of Thomas, you know, where it goes off the tees off there, is where Davises live at.
Yeah.
You guys making that any wider by any chance? You're gonna make it any wider when you pave that road, are you? That's not part of that? Okay. All right, thanks. No, well, there's your trucks down it, but no. Stuff is burning, I'll make sure somebody carries the buckets of water down.
Do you make the motion on the street?
I had to make a motion to speak,
Joyce is?
I will, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll second.
I didn't hear who made the motion.
I made the motion.
Joyce.
To do the paving?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who second?
Steve?
Steve,
Joyce?
yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Now, the next thing I kind of wanted to bring up was Magistrate Court. Since we're kind of restructuring and taking, going to the sheriff and all that stuff, I don't see the function of really having the Magistrate Court anymore, so I think that's something maybe we should eliminate or whatever, because it's a cost to the village every month for something we're not using, and it's rather expensive. I don't know what you guys' opinion is.
I agree with it.
So I think I just shut that down.
I'll get an ordinance ready then.
Okay.
It's a process, like I explained before, because Linda's going to have to file reports with the Ohio Supreme Court. There's a final year report included
Right.
in all that. We had no business or anything like that. Then Magistrate McDermott would also have to sign off on cases in which there are holds on people's licenses for not appearing in court, things like that. It's a process that Linda and I have done before
Yeah, she
in
said
Republic.
she, just let her know when she's
Yeah.
ready to do it.
So I'll get the ordinance together and I'll let Linda know that that's in the works.
And that's
And
something
she'll
probably
let,
next meeting, whatever.
yeah, she'll let Tom know also.
Okay.
Let's see. You know, since it is a cost to the village, and the village is worried about finances, I think I can try and do it as an emergency waiver of 3 rule, if that's the desire of council.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's 3 long months before we get
that'd be
get her
crazy,
done.
that'd be crazy.
You want me then to do 3 waiver, 3
think so.
readings, and
Yeah.
things like that?
And you have any issue with that? No?
Okay.
Okay. The next thing I want to kind of follow up on document scanning and that, have you had any more luck getting focused on that or getting focused on changing documents?
Gotta bring a bunch more downstairs, something up there loaded. See, we took all that stuff upstairs, we moved everything upstairs, we
Yeah.
gotta bring it all back down. So-
How far are we on that? How many years do we have in so far?
It's not really done like that.
Oh, isn't it?
You just scan
Oh,
everything.
and it sorts
When you
it?
enter a keyword, that brings up, like if you typed in 2016, it'd bring up everything on 2016.
Oh.
So you're not gonna look through folders, say, 2002, 2003.
Oh.
You're gonna type in a keyword and it'll bring up everything that has that in it.
Oh.
So, I don't really know. We've got quite a bit done, but not through years like that.
Okay.
I know I've been working on it, I was kind of curious where we're at, it takes time, it takes effort to get there. Okay. In the same way with, trying to make sure we follow up on getting the web page and stuff, so we're starting
I
to
have
discuss
not
that.
heard from him at all.
Okay. So we might want to do something different if you're not, so we can figure out, so if it's not working for you, we'll try something different or whatever,
I
so.
don't know where he is at with that.
Is that Jake?
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
Try something different or whatever. Okay. And the next thing up on business is the credit card resolution, which would be, let's speak to this, so, 2013 December, is that right, Dan?
14
Need a copy?
Yeah.
I just brought mine from home.
Okay, all right.
I think I actually got a copy of her stuff first. The floor is yours, Ken.
What's that?
The floor is yours.
Where's mine?
The floor is yours.
The floor is yours.
Oh.
On this credit card thing.
Well, I
Don't
saw
go for
it back here at the bottom on page 2, under new business. You want me to go now, or should I follow the agenda?
I put that in the old business, because that was an old thing. I mean, we can talk about new business if you want to. but-
Well,
I mean,
no, I'm just trying to follow the agenda. It's under new business, one of the last things. Okay, so you want me to do that now? Okay. It has, for those of you that may not know, I'm Stan Poe, one of the council people. And this has to do with credit card use. It has come to the attention of some, including myself, that flagrant misuse of village-issued credit cards for personal gain has taken place on numerous occasions. At this time, I would like to either A, be shown and have explained to village residents any incorrect findings that I'm going to show now, or B, ask for the immediate resignation of 2 village administration officials because of their misuse and self-profiting financially from village tax and related taxpayer revenue. In other words, using taxpayer revenue to pay for personal things. In fact, if you would, don't open that unless you want to pay it or buy it, but if you could pass that around, I'd sure appreciate it. I got 2 more up here as well. The brief information presented this evening is but what I believe to be the tip of the iceberg in wrongdoing and self-profiting from the village tax base and related taxpayer revenue. You want that one?
No.
It's yours if you do.
I don't want it, just pass it around. They don't want it.
Okay. The evidence appears to me, after careful review and additional investigation on my part, to show... You okay?
Go for it, Stan. David.
The evidence appears to me, after careful review and additional investigation on my part, to show numerous uses of credit cards that are being issued for only village-related purposes, being used for personal purchases and or profit on the part of the village administrator John Dabrunz and village mayor Gary Harrison. For that reason, and when proven in full, the state of Ohio and potential federal criminal charges may follow. At this time, I'm both requesting and encouraging Dabrunz and Harrison to resign immediately. The evidence within my hands this evening can be discussed as thoroughly as you want to right now, or we can move on. It's your call. But make no mistake, this evidence is but a portion of further charges that may follow. These Monster Energy drinks were charged on John's issued village credit card at the Friendship Station uptown. I didn't know that we were paying for drinks and snacks. So that's one. Another instance here is a charge for lunches at the Blue Eagle that, unless I misunderstand something, our mayor owns the Blue Eagle, so he's profited from the village paying for lunches at the Blue Eagle. Again, we can discuss this as much or little, but in my view, taxpayer money being used for personal expenses like Monster energy drinks makes no sense to me, and I don't like to see taxpayer money being used that way. Again, tip of the iceberg. So for now, I'll leave it at that.
And the Monster drinks was bought and paid for. They was not for personal gain. They was for the Crossways guys to drink. They asked for them, we buy them something to drink. We did it. That's what that was.
That's what you say. I don't see it. All I see is
Why
the
would we
receipt.
lie?
Why would you lie?
Yeah.
Where do I start?
Oh, jeez, you listen to
I
me.
see it listed under the street department, that charge for 2 3-packs, total of, in just one simple example, $10.73, filed under the street department.
Well, they're probably cleaning up the street, so I mean.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, they're working.
what they do is-
That's what
Well,
they do.
listen, all I'm basing a lot of this on is our own policy that says, in the case of the meals at the Blue Eagle, no casinos, no bars.
And in your words last month, you said, take them to the golf course. They sell beer at the golf
No,
course.
no, I didn't say that. You said,
You did.
No,
too.
you did too.
you said,
Dan.
where else were we supposed to go?
And
What
you
did you
said
say?
the golf.
Okay,
You said they're
that's
going-
irrelevant. I'm sticking to the facts.
It's the same thing.
No.
That's
Same
the
thing,
facts.
yeah.
Gary doesn't own that golf course.
It doesn't matter. They sell beer there, okay?
Okay.
And whiskey.
If you
What
wanna,
we're saying here, and I want everybody in Bettsville to know, and I'm on camera, okay? These people, we get them people, they come over here, they work their butts off, you know. What, do you do anything for the town?
Okay.
Let me.
That has
let me
nothing to do
oh,
with this.
baloney, I'm tired of this baloney.
yeah, well,
And I'm just sick of the whole thing. You and your
I'm
little
sick of
friends
this.
have been trying for 2 years
No, I haven't
to
been
knock
trying anything.
Gary and John out of this so you can do your own little agenda.
Because of this.
Yeah.
These are simply the facts.
You just shut up. You aren't even involved.
Council's having a
You
meeting
just-
right now.
You'll-
Another
Whoa,
matter.
whoa.
Quiet, please, or ask you to leave.
Either
This
out.
is a function between the council right now.
You know, we're
We'll
just-
see where this goes. I'll leave
Yeah,
it at that.
well,
but-
we are not going to, we'll just change the policy then. You know
Oh,
what?
well, that's too bad. It's already been done.
Well, I don't care. We don't care.
That's
But
right.
you know what?
You don't care.
These people have saved us thousands and thousands of dollars, and you're bitching about $90 or $10.
I just told you this was the tip of the iceberg.
Oh,
I've got
oh,
8 more examples I could show you
here
right
we
now.
go.
Well, show them.
Show
Show 'em,
I
show
well
'em.
got 'em.
I'll tell you what.
And had to go back 3 or 4 years to find all these. Come on.
These are simply copies. Do your own homework. That's what I would encourage you to do. If you want me to show you
You
the
get all
other
this
8,
time on your hand to do all this
do
homework, right?
your homework.
Okay, excuse me, Stan, Gary, since you're being accused of this stuff, approximately how much money have you spent personally?
Irrelevant.
You just-
That's
no, it's not irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Just shut
You just accused him of theft, okay?
Fine.
So approximately how much money did you spend feeding the Crossroad people out of your own pocket over that period, 3-year period of time?
Oh, I figured it up today. I spent about $3,360
Oh, my God.
on lunches. So I sure didn't profit.
And
The credit cards that he's in talk to that I spent, that we bought lunches for the Crossways guys and so forth, totaled $380.25. And
and that money
there
back
were
in the
certain
account?
people that was arguing that I shouldn't use the credit card and all that, so I paid it back.
Right.
It's paid, so I spent another $380.25.
And Dylan,
All out of my pocket.
don't you have a transaction for that?
Yeah, he has
Okay,
receipts.
okay.
And I'd also like to make a statement, when Linda Davis was there, her and I, we fixed their lunches for them, you know. So, I mean, we didn't go buy it because we didn't have the money, okay? We didn't have a credit card, but we fixed them meals every weekend, you know, her and I out of our own pockets. So don't go telling us, you know, that we're stealing. And we just get sick and tired of being accused of stealing every week. So there.
He's
Well, we're
You-
getting,
you-
we're
they
getting,
use-
we're
they
getting
use- they
accused
use
of
us
it.
stealing every week. I want
Isn't that
this.
stealing?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, I mean, but it's,
Yeah.
The sheriff's department will tell you, every time those folks leave that facility, they're given a sack lunch supplied by
That
the
is-
county.
Well,
Oh, that's
let me,
a lot.
let me say one other thing then. The sheriff's department probably is right, but the boys we had was not from the sheriff's department. The sheriff had nothing to do with none of them. So if you're checking with the sheriff's department, they have nothing to do with the guys that I have, and they know nothing about this.
Okay.
So,
I'm just
I
saying that
mean,
these are,
well, I'm saying that what you said, what the last council meeting was said, that, oh, I know for a fact, called the sheriff's
Yeah.
department and the
Sheriff
people
said.
there said they definitely those days had sack lunches and so forth and so on, and they have nothing to do with them people. They ain't even from them. So, what you said there is totally wrong, so.
So anybody else in the council have a comment on this, please?
If I may have the floor
Yes.
for a moment. Stan's had his say, and he's allowed to have his say. And, I think the council, we've already heard all the accusations. It's part of public record, now let's move on.
Yeah.
If Stan wants to pursue this, go right ahead.
Stan has the right to do that. We're in disagreement with it, that's fine. He has an option to do that, so. Any other comment on it? Let's move on to the next one.
John.
John does.
John?
Monster's disgusting, trust me, that shit wasn't.
What was that?
Monster's disgusting, trust me, it wasn't.
Well, there's several purchases on your Visa card, the village issue.
Public record.
Yeah, I can show them right there.
figure the
Does it
three
say
also,
Monster
how many
drinks?
guys you had
Yes, it
working?
does.
Oh,
It matches a pocket, or a receipt I had in one of my pockets, same exact receipt. It'll say Monster 3-pack.
Please, okay, let's say,
Two of them, $5 a piece, $10.73.
okay, we're done. Okay.
That's how they're charged to the village credit card issued to John.
I think we're done with this subject. We all agreed that, you have the right to do whatever you think you gotta do, but at the end of the day, it's your call.
And I just wanted to get on record with that information and ask for the resignation of people that are misusing the village's money.
You're entitled to that.
You're entitled to it, but there's no misuse.
Okay, let's. New business here. I talked to Mike a little bit about fire department, when they're talking about trying to get some money put together for a new fire truck or pumper or whatever. So I mean, I think we need to have like a long-term, because these things are quite expensive, what, around over $300,000?
We got two estimates so far between 3 and 300.
Yeah, so the issue comes down to, like, when we put a petitioner, put action so we can put it on a levy again. We'll see what kind of, if we pass the levy, if it passes this next election in November. Then we have to have some kind of strategy to save money. There are some lease buy options and all that stuff. I think that we need to investigate that, see what all kind of opportunities we have and what the cost. I think, my understanding is they would like to get rid of the ladder truck and that kind of stuff, and then kind of new pumper and.
Two regular.
So, the issue is, I mean, they're not worth a lot of money, because we found when you got fire equipment, I mean, it's too specialized, there's not a lot of, use of.
Skyscrapers around,
Yeah,
skyscrapers around.
yeah, there's not too many in town here.
They're not, when you want to get rid of an aerial truck, what happens is other departments that already have them, have $1 million ones.
Yeah.
When you get rid of like ours, it's gonna go to a department that's just like, has, like how Bettsville is, they have a few
Right.
high rises, they have a few, 2- and 3-story buildings that they may need it for. Other than that, you're not gonna get, the guys told us you're gonna get a couple $1,000 out of both of them. And then that one rescue truck pumper, he says, we're lucky if we get a couple $100 out of it, it may end up going just to the scrap yard, because that frame's in pretty bad shape right now, so. That's our plan, is either them two.
Is that what your levy would be for, to save kind of for a truck or?
Yeah,
for-
yep. So we're trying to work, trying to get it set up where we can make payments, but, so secured 4 years, then like Scott was talking, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do after them 4 years to make that
Well, I
payment.
think that's how they did it before.
Well, the other issue you gotta do is that, it comes back to the budget and the auditor, you have to define if you wanna put this money and set it aside for fund, because you can only, amass so much funds into a budget if you don't have a structure or what you want to spend the money for. So, I mean, if we're going long-term, we're going to try to buy a truck, and we're going to start putting some money set aside for that, then we have to make sure we do that in the budget. And we earmark that money for that project, and that's what it's going to be used for. So that's something we have to discuss as we move forward and try to do the right thing. But this isn't, you know, we need to put bond under, but I think the issue is the tax and trying to get bonds and all that stuff is going to be very difficult too for a small community like us to try to get a truck. So I think it's just put it out there so people can start thinking about it. And I think also what you're probably going to do, you're probably doing a public communication issue. We'll probably go around and document what they're trying to accomplish and present it to all the residents in town, maybe different fire departments or fire members.
That way everybody knows.
Kind of what's going on,
Yeah,
what the
they're
goal
paying,
is.
what it's going for, what's replacing,
Yeah.
explain to them so they kind of know more about, what the levy's for.
And I think the other thing that's important too is just really have a good firm quote, kind of what it's going to cost, and we have a firm number to kind of start working with. And of course, I mean, it's going to change a little bit, but at least you have a ballpark number that's somewhat structured there.
We do that, it's what they call state bids.
Are you talking new?
That is the price for a new one, yes.
Well, the issue comes down to is, I mean, it's after, what is it, 20 years?
20 years.
So, even if you try to buy one for, use one for 10 years or something like that, you still, I mean.
You know what I mean, the Class A pump we have right now, as of June of 1997 is when we bought it, I believe. So that truck's no longer, so it's out of its 20-year lifespan, so we will, that truck, we're gonna make a rescue truck, we need a new Class A pump. So, we don't wanna look at used, but if things
Your
don't go
market,
the way, right, then we're gonna have to look
Net.
at something, obviously.
how long you got before you had to purchase the truck? Is there,
I mean, how much, I mean.
How long before, now what?
Let's say that again so I understand.
like if we earmark the funds and start putting funds in for a truck,
Mhm.
how many years can you go before you had to buy the truck?
If you give me the okay tonight, I'm just saying, if you give me the okay tonight to purchase a truck, I place the order, and you don't make a payment on that truck until you receive that truck. And then you can also extend that, so you have another whole year before you have to make another payment. So technically, you have 2 full years, if not 3 years, because it's going to take them roughly 6 months or so, if not a little bit more, to make the truck, build the truck, and then so we're talking a year there roughly, and then, if we ask for an extension, so you're talking 2 or 3 years before.
First payment.
Is that what you're getting at, Bill? Or is
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
What did your last levy bring in? Do you remember a year? That's what you guys made your payments with. Was
Right.
it about 20,000 or 25,000?
30, so I have to look, I don't remember exactly what.
And then you had it paid off like in 5 years, right?
No. Well,
That was for
that
the
was,
used one.
that was a that was for the engine 61 you're talking about? The one we bought originally, the new one we bought?
No, the
No,
ladder
no,
truck,
I
the
think
ladder
it was
truck.
the
Yeah,
ladder.
that was all bought with levy money, that was all paid for, yeah.
Levy money?
Yeah.
I think it was like 4 years or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
I can talk as to what the current one, maybe kill 2 birds with
Okay.
1 stone.
Okay.
At the last meeting, council passed a resolution of necessity for a levy on tax, and this would be a renewal tax of the fire department's levy. And it was unanimous by everybody who was here. There were 5 members here. So as a result of that, the request to the state auditor, they came back with the certificate of estimated property tax revenue. And this is important because before we do a resolution of intention to proceed, we would have to have a motion to accept the certificate, and let me read it off as to what the numbers you're looking for. So we'll make a motion to accept the certificate of estimated property tax revenue, and once this is accepted, then council, if they so choose, can do the resolution with an intention determining to proceed. I know this is the way it has to be done.
Okay.
And this is for the renewal levy, renewal tax, which means it remains the same. Now, she calculated that the annual revenue from 3 mills from the renewal levy, the total annual revenue would be $19,143. That's based on a total tax valuation of Bettsville of $7,243,000 as $7,243,610. That would be the value of all the property within the village, and then 3 mills is on that. Typically, what they do, just so you know, is they'll say, well, what's 3 mills? What does that bring in for a $100,000 house? She didn't address that, so I'm not going to just throw out numbers, but maybe you've heard that before. So the number you'll be dealing with on the 3 mills is approximately $19,143.
How many years?
This is a 4-year levy that you voted on last time, and so if you intend to proceed, it would continue as a 4-year
Okay.
levy.
So should we make that motion now?
Well, if you all want to, you may, but it would have to be a motion to accept the certificate of estimated property tax revenue of $19,143 on the renewal levy for fire protection.
I'll make that motion. Okay.
I'll second it.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Now, what's the next one?
Well, you have in front of you a resolution, and it'll probably need a number. A resolution declaring the intention and determining to proceed the tax levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for providing fire protection, a renewal tax, and requesting the auditor's Seneca County, Ohio certifications under section 5705.03 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency. If you wanted to proceed, you would need a motion, a second, to waive the 3 reading rule, and to pass this and also declare an emergency. That would take 5 votes.
So
And again, this is for a renewal
Okay.
for that estimated amount. Then afterwards, I'll tell you, so I don't complicate things, I'll tell you what the process is after.
Okay. You just throw a lot of these, I'm probably gonna screw it up, but we'll try to keep it straight here, so.
The simple way of saying is resolution for intent to proceed.
Give me a resolution.
2017-08.
08?
Wait, 2000.
2008.
08, you said? What'd you say? Andrew?
08.
08, excuse me.
2/17/08. What to do?
I'll make a motion
Do
to
we have-
suspend the rules. Is that what-
We have to make a motion?
Motion to pass it as an
To
emergency.
suspend the...
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll second it.
Scott?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Motion to declare an emergency?
I will.
I'll second.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Ron?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Scott?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
And all the members have to sign this document, is that correct?
He said he needs 2.
I need 2, and you'll need 1 for the village records. Just so you know what the process is then I bring both of these resolutions, and also, did Julie send you the original certificate? I just have a photocopy. Did she send you an original?
He has, I gave it tonight.
Okay, because I want to grab the original to give to the Board of Elections along with the resolutions. Then the Board of Elections sends it down to Columbus. The state has to approve of it. If they want on any changes, then I have to come back to council, okay? That's why it's good to have it done early, because the deadline is 90 days before the election, which is usually the end of July, beginning of August, since the election's November. Thank you. You do have a copy, right? You do have, okay, we'll make another one. And then they send it back to me for ballot language, and the ballot language will indicate a renewal levy. And then they put it on the ballot for the general election on November 7th this year. And that's important because it reduces costs. When you have it, instead, a special election is expensive. When you put it with the general election, the village gets charged for that, but the costs are lower because it's with every other issue that's out there as well.
Oh, should
So
all, can all,
that's the
can all of us
process we're
sign it?
looking at, and I'm doing it, and this, and I'll get to you in a second, Joyce, and I'll wrap it up. I bring it down because I'm downtown also. Our fiscal officer doesn't have to bring it down. I bring it and
Okay.
shuffle it downtown with the Board of Election in June.
Okay.
What's your question,
Can
Joyce?
all of us sign it then? If
You all
Yeah,
have to
you all
sign.
sign.
Okay.
On that front, all the blanks, all 6 council people.
Okay.
There's 2 pages they have to sign here.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Probably-
okay. Yeah.
Probably 3. I'll have 2 originals, and you'll have an original.
But they have to sign both pages.
What
Yeah.
he's saying.
Oh, yeah,
Council
yeah,
signs
3
it.
3 copies altogether.
Sign that, pass it around.
You sign the back part too, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got both.
I'll read the motion.
We're gonna send
Just
another
2.
one around
He's
too.
gonna send another one.
Who's gonna, here, take this one, money. Send that around. So we have to do 3. You want 3 of them?
Yeah, because you'll have 1 for the village records, and I bring 2
No,
with
do you
me.
fill in who made the motion and who seconded it then?
No,
Oh, she
our
will?
fiscal
Okay.
officer.
Okay, thank you.
I'll start the third one right here.
You just,
You already said, that's the second one or third one?
this is the third one.
Oh, okay, that's the second.
Yeah, it's only the
Oh,
second
so
one.
it's the- oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's starting the
So
third
you
one.
get
Oh,
confused.
okay.
Number 3. How are you doing?
Good one, Ron.
Maybe another report runner somewhere, because I haven't signed one, signed 2.
This is one we gotta
Okay.
sign. I'm
These
sure
are
glad,
completed.
I'm sure glad that we had cursive when we were kids, aren't you?
They're talking about bringing them back, actually.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
you gotta be able to read the Constitution.
Okay, this one's done.
Sorry.
I'll have to sign it.
Certify it.
Yeah, I'll have
Yeah.
to sign it too.
There you go.
Completed.
That's your copy right
Make sure we get
Okay.
well, let's get them out of here before we get mixed
You
up.
can
everything
email
else.
Angela for
You know what I'm
certified.
saying?
Gary's got
I'll
to sign
send a
it.
couple more.
So you got that?
Make sure he gets
Oh,
all
we
that
gotta
signed.
sign, we gotta sign, here, this one, Stan.
Then give them to Gary so we can sign them, that way
Yeah.
get that stuff contained so we don't lose it in this, all the
Yeah.
paper we got tonight. Okay?
Oh, you got your,
Yeah.
did you do the other one?
No.
We're done with that?
On all of these, we do need to, oh, Angela will do it. It's fine.
Yeah. The,
Angela, the one that,
who made the motion and who didn't and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's over with now.
Everything's done, done with, let's move to the next item.
Yeah.
Okay, next
Here,
one.
here.
The trespassing sign not used, we can advise in the front part. Follow up, make sure that gets done, so we get that taken care of. Okay.
Well, you wanna tell the people that we don't have to put a fence around?
Well, that's why I wanted to directly read that letter from Pat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
if that's what the insurance company's willing to support, then, and that's the choice, then at least it's an option.
He originally just said it over the phone, and I asked him to send it to me, and he
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that way we have it for records, if there's another event.
And then I'll but I'm sure it's the same issue a lot of other municipalities have. They have either, you know, water reservoirs or whatever, and it's the same issue. I mean, so
As long as the insurance company's there to cover us, so then we've got it in writing. But just make sure we follow up with the signs. You may want to have a motion and figure out how many signs at least.
okay, we'll make a motion then to get the signs installed around the park saying no trespassing, and then get the gate secured and stuff so that, you know, it's not easy access as much as possible.
I'll second the motion.
Catch that, man?
Yeah, Scott?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Stan?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Next issue I want to talk about is mowing support for the park, since it's, you know, we still got a lot of territory to mow out there, and I mean, since it's a little bit structured, sure, has there been any thought process of, I mean, I know Lee did in the past, but what do you want to do?
Lee's still doing it.
Still doing
He's
it?
still mowing.
Okay. So, you think right now we're in good shape, or do we? John?
I've got an application from one person, to assist for seasonal part-time, and, I would like, we gotta run it in the paper for at least,
Okay.
and get applications in, but I'd like to take applications the 8th through the 12th for part-time seasonal help. That would be with mowing, you know, Lee, actually, I went out there and mowed some too.
And this would be all through the village, not just the park, but all through the village, right?
Right,
Okay.
right. Which we had discussed doing this before.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to address that, because I mean, you
The
know,
last couple of years.
so, anybody have any issues with that? No, we discussed it, I think it's the right thing to do.
It's been 2 years, I think it's about.
That's what.
Well, what kind of rate would we paying per hour? So we talked about that.
Angela and I had the numbers upstairs at one time, because it's in the budget for it.
Okay.
We had the budget last couple of years, just never, I had to go back to it.
Okay. So basically,
I didn't wanna pay any more than what the officers were getting paid.
Right, I understand.
So it was just a little over minimum.
Okay. So I think what we do is get those numbers together and all that stuff, and then we'll put a motion together for next meeting or whatever, and you have the application by then, you can maybe define what you wanna do, and how many hours approximately you wanna try to work them a month or a week or whatever.
A week.
Or whatever,
Probably 10.
how you wanna do it?
Probably 10, 15 hours.
Anybody have any issues with that?
We're in the budget.
I think we need to address this issue.
We figured 20 hours a week when we put it in the budget, so I mean, there's plenty there.
So if we have to use them longer, we can at certain times.
I mean, the issue comes down to, we don't have this on the service like crossroads like we had in the past, to help clean up,
No,
and we have,
I-
you know, so we gotta do something, so it's gonna cost us money, so we might as well at least try to address it that way, so.
And you're giving John, he can do the applications.
Yeah, do the application, all that
And,
stuff.
and he
You
can
just
do
take
the
care of
hire.
it yourself. We
Yeah.
don't have to approve, I don't think. Do we have
No,
to
you don't
approve?
have to.
No, we have to approve the money, but I mean, I
Yeah.
said, once he gets it through the, see what we get for applicants or whatever, and he can figure out who he wants to hire or whatever, and then we'll bring it to the council again and make it official then we can.
We may have the floor, we may want to think that we were gathering brush for years and years and years, and Gary did it.
Yeah.
And I went with him one time, and that's not something Gary should be doing.
Right,
To
I
be
agree.
quite frank about it. So if there's time in there, it'd be nice if we can incorporate that back in, because a lot of the residents don't realize we stopped,
Right.
so.
And the other issue is a lot of the residents and stuff now are getting a lot older, and it's even me hauling stuff out there anymore, it's like this. Not as young
Well,
as I
the
used to
other
be.
thing is I worked down in a 20-foot hole and was going up and down a wet ladder and there's nobody else around.
Yeah, that's not a
Yeah.
good thing, I mean, you know, we gotta be careful and have things in a safer situation we can.
And I still would like to bring up, if people are gonna insist on bringing their stuff down here, their leaves and their brush and everything, will you please dump it out of the black bags? I mean, that's just something else we have to do, and, you know, I don't think it's gonna hurt you guys to empty your own
Well,
trash,
then
okay?
there you go. I mean, if we have somebody picking it up, we'll have somebody running interference on
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
yeah.
And, you know, if you
So-
got the black bag, we ain't picking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other issue is though, sometimes they bring it down here, so I mean, it's just so everybody's
I
aware.
understand that, I
Yeah,
understand that, but
yeah.
my daughter had it in her black bags, and, Dad, they're not, this is back when we still did it, and I says, take it out of the bags.
Yeah,
They're not gonna pick it up that way.
yeah.
Why? I says, because we don't want garbage bags, we want the mulch.
But I don't have a problem doing it.
No, but, you know,
It's just extra time. It just takes us extra
Well,
time to do this.
At that time, we were being critical about it, and took it out of the bag and it was picked up.
It would be nice to be able to go pick
I
it up
think it's something that's had, you know, time to move forward and this thing resolved, we've been talking about for a while, and it just, you know, the reality is, it's a lot of work picking all that stuff up, and you have a storm event or something like that, you know, it's a lot of work cleaning that stuff up, because a lot of limbs down in a short period of time.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time on it.
So, John, you get that put together, and then next councilman, we have forward, and then we'll get that finalized and move
I
forward.
need somebody hired.
Well, really,
We need people now.
Really, I
while
would,
the
su-
grass
I
is
would
growing.
suggest if I can to maybe us have a special council meeting after he interviews or whatever he does and who he wants to hire, because the longer we wait, it's gonna have to be piled up, so I would think the right thing to do was once he picks who he wants, then we have a special council meeting and approve it and get him to work right away.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So, we'll just get post office, all those places, so people are aware of it, and, you know, that way nobody's, doesn't understand what's going on. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the RETA subpoena program. I'm just gonna find the right document here.
Do we still have the utility billing system to talk about under old business?
Well, actually, we
talked
talked
about
about
it
it,
already.
you passed that thing around.
Yeah.
That fall under utility billing?
Yeah, that was
That was
the software thing we just talked about, Stan.
Okay.
He's trying to figure out what to do and get some more information on that. Yeah, it's a great document here. Well, basically what we gotta do, we got options here, letters only to the people that have not paid their RETA tax, or we do letters and subpoenas. We currently have approximately 132 non-filers in the village of Bettsville right now. So if we do the letters, RETA will send a letter to those active taxpayers on our files who have not filed one or more required tax returns for a municipality. The letter will advise taxpayers that the agency records indicate a tax return was due for the year or years in question, and instruct them to file the returns or multiple returns, depending on what it is, or to complete the exemption section of the letter to indicate why a return was not filed. There's no cost for sending the letter. Administrative subpoena for those members that choose to participate in both parts of the delinquency program. An administrative subpoena will be issued to the taxpayers that fail to respond to the non-filing letter. The subpoena instructs the taxpayer to appear at your municipal hall or other mutually agreed upon location to meet the RETA auditor and produce their tax records. To allow RETA's field audit team to efficiently and effectively process tax returns and payments, and to provide real-time credit card authorization for your taxpayers appearing at the subpoena program, it is imperative that the attached technical and physical requirements are in place when the program is conducted. The cost to participate in this part of the program, $8 per subpoena. If you municipality would like to participate in the delinquency program, please complete and return the enclosed authorization form. If you choose to hold a full program, your municipality already has an authorization form to deduct the cost from your monthly distribution. If you change the status and receive an invoice, please contact me. Upon the receipt of the authorization form, you will be contacted to schedule a date for your program. You must return the executed document in the envelope provided no later than June 1st, 2017 if you intend to participate. And so we got a couple options there. What would you guys like to do? So if I understand this right, so it would be $8 per subpoena. So if we got 132 people not compliant, so I'll multiply that times 132. Is that correct? You guys read that the same way? So,
Can I make
sure.
2 legal comments?
Sure.
One, if you don't keep on top of it, understand there's a 2-year statute of limitations. You snooze, you lose.
Okay.
As a village. 2, let's please get 3 citizens for the tax committee.
So if they don't,
I
if they
see
don't
lots
pay,
of people out there today.
do we arrest them if they don't pay, or no?
Well, it is a misdemeanor first degree. Normally what is done in court with another nameless village I deal with is a complaint is filed. I'll draw up a complaint after Rita's gone through all of it and can file a complaint. And usually when they're in court, we say, hey, file your return, make payment arrangements, $50 fine. But still, people don't want a misdemeanor first degree on their record for the most part. But RETA also has its own collection program as well. But as far as the criminal part of it is concerned, there's a 2-year statute of limitations as a misdemeanor.
Okay.
So you snooze, you lose if you don't keep up on it. So just take that into consideration.
You guys any
So what are you suggesting, Rick, that would be, the letter or the subpoena?
The RETA program is inexpensive, and that's kind of step 1. Give people a chance to correct their situation,
So those
rather
are the
than, and so that a letter is easy. A subpoena brings them in. RETA has the information because they get the access to the employer's information that is sent to the state each month now, so that when the guys come in and work on the streets, they have to pay a portion. I have to pay a portion for any work I do here also. So they're aware of it, so they can say, well, we got you, Palua. You didn't file. We know that you're working for the village. You see what I mean? As an independent contractor, but no.
So at least I think maybe we can start the letter and find out and see what kind of return. I mean, I guess my question would be, let's say we send the letter out and we got 50% of them people respond, and the other 50% then we maybe go to the next step.
Which is
we
the
have that
subpoena
option.
program.
Yeah.
I mean, and that doesn't mean everybody is a tax cheat or anything like that. Some people don't have to file anything
Right.
because they don't have anything
Right.
to earn. But they're filing out because you don't want to file those charges frivolously.
Right.
Either. But there is a 2-year statute of limitations.
So I think we just, my opinion, maybe if we can do it that way, we do the letter first and see how that goes, and then if there's, say, 10% or 15% don't, then we can go to the subpoena program that we were just paying for that percentage, not $8 for everybody.
And the cost of that versus a tax administrator is a great bargain.
Yeah. So, anybody have any any other?
I agree. Going to subpoena step one is not the right thing to do. One, we're spending a lot of money that we probably wouldn't have to if they respond and take care of it. Then we'll know.
They were explaining, I mean, like a lot of people really, once they get the letter, they realize, even though they fill paperwork out, they still don't have to pay anything, so I mean, it's because they, you know, they don't have the income or whatever to
It's just a
have that
matter of
payment.
filing.
Right. Yeah, you know, people make mistakes or whatever, and, you know, you don't wanna, you know, create undue harm to the community for something that was a simple mistake, and having it rectified, you know, correctly, so.
Scott,
Yes.
if you look under where it says administrative subpoena, it says that the subpoenas will be issued to taxpayers that fail to respond to the non-filing letter. So they send letters to everybody first, and then if they don't respond, then they do the subpoena.
Okay.
So even then, the ones that respond, we won't have to pay for subpoenas.
Okay. So do we send the letters, or
No,
does
no,
Rita
Rita
send the
does
letters?
everything.
Okay,
They do.
okay.
I think if you choose to do the letters, then you can't choose to do the subpoenas later, because
Okay.
they have to know by June 1st.
Okay, so we wanna do the administrative, what she's saying, I think that's maybe that's where we go to that. So, and that's why it's important to have different points of view, because, you know, everybody reads it a little bit differently, so we'll just make sure we're all on the same page, so. Everybody in agreement with that then? Yeah. Do we need to make a motion to do that then?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to do the administrative subpoena then.
I'll second.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rob.
Something like that's the deposit pay program I read earlier, for a lot of sequence, so I apologize for that, we'll try to learn a new game here. So you guys have a little time to think about it, anybody, any other questions? Basically, we want to make sure that you said that the cost is roughly $50 a month, with no limit to the amount of checks that can be processed through the program. And so if we decide to do the program, then we'll have to do a motion to do that, so.
So that means we have to pay the bank $50 a month to do this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, we're already paying it anyhow, so
Yeah.
it's actually a deduction cost. But,
I got check and balance.
yeah, and it's a positive pay fraud detection, so it's fraud protection as well. I mean, you know, as easy it is today for people to, you know, get your account numbers and stuff and put it out there online and stuff like that, and people charge stuff from another country or something. We all heard of that, and there are a lot of people now that gotta be careful with that stuff, so I think it might be cost-effective insurance. You know, let the bank take the hit instead of us, and whatever, let them deal with it.
I'll make a motion then that we go ahead and go with this for the Old Fort Bank, the positive pay.
I'll second it.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Missing that one or not? Well, I got to post my checking account over, is that,
It's attached to the
did I miss it somewhere?
positive pay.
Pardon?
It's attached to the positive pay. It's at the bottom.
Okay, bottom one. Oh, no, back was it?
It's on the bottom of that front page.
This one.
Excuse me. The O4 Bank rep also discussed the option of switching our checking account over from a business progressive to a business corporate checking account. There are copies of the comparison and procedure. The sweep account balance will increase to $100,000 instead of $3,000. It will make the monthly service charge go away. This change would allow an approximately monthly savings of $45 based on the March 2017 activity. So basically, it's just a cost savings. But So he's putting $100,000 in the checking account himself, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, the sweep account will have a different balance in it, which will get rid of the monthly service charge.
So, just another way to save some money, so, I mean, we have the money to do, we might as well try to take advantage, at least
Yeah.
$45 is $45.
And that's what the lady from OSEP does, she got it, and she's looking over the accounts and seeing the ways we can save money.
Yeah, and again, if we decide to do that, we can make a motion to do that, and that's,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Ron,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Stan,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
We just cut our fraud protection down to $13.
Okay. Okay, and also, the next thing we're gonna talk about is the increased appropriations in the sewer special capital improvement fund. So, council was asked to approve an increase in appropriations in the amount of $2,509.94 for account code 5701-800-540 in the sewer assessment cap improvement funds due to the budget amendment increase that was passed in April. Meaning now the funds need to be appropriated, so we just gotta make it official, move the money over to the new fund. So, motion to do that.
I'll make a motion to move the money.
I'll second.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yes. The amount was $2,509.94. We talked about it last meeting, and we just have to make it official now, we need to get the other account numbers. Okay. And then Stan wants to discuss water service ordinance.
Thank you. A resident in town last week, in my view, in talking with him, has been jumping through hoops trying to get his water service turned back on. In talking with him in a lot of detail, apparently his water's been off for a while, but he's made restitution or whatever it's called. He's paid the back portion. Something was brought up about him owing on a lien, and somehow the water back not being paid fell under that category. So he went to the county, jumped through those hoops, and he told me that they said that shouldn't be involved in a situation. So I was simply hoping to ask two things, and I'm guessing they should be pretty much on the forefront of John's thinking because he dealt with this as late as yesterday. So my question is, what with our water policy, what constitutes water being shut off, and then what constitutes what needs to be done for it to be simply turned back on? So John, I was wondering if you could help me understand, and council, what constitutes the water being shut off. Of course, they don't pay their bills, so, but is it for so many months they miss a payment, or first payment if they're
That
late?
ordinance, I gave you a copy of the ordinance.
Okay.
Make sure it's the right one here. Is this no more? Oh, this one's all smudged up. Okay, is it?
Why don't you just go ahead and explain, John?
Well, because there's not a lot I can say about it, because it's, Rick, what am I allowed to say? I mean, I spoke with Rick about this.
Well, I don't know any names need to be mentioned, but it's just a resident.
And my advice is always, of course, follow the ordinance. And so the monthly due date on this ordinance, 2009-04, is the 15th of each month. No past due balance shall exceed 15 days or water will be shut off unless separate arrangements are made with the water department. So apparently it's due on the 15th. If it's past due more than 15 days, it's shut off. Unless
Okay.
arrangements are so.
That's straightforward.
And yes, we do work with people, but not after they've been tax assessed. Because we send a letter to people prior to them being tax assessed saying, hey, you know, you need to get this straightened out before your property's tax assessed.
Well,
Most generally, that takes care of the issue.
And the reason is because we can't, once it's tax assessed, that goes through the treasurer's office because it's a lien on the property. We cannot take their money. You cannot take their money when they're tax assessed. All that has to go through treasurer's office at Seneca County, because that's involved with the lien on their property.
And his situation is his tax assessment or his lien involves apparently other issues, and it's outstanding in the amount of several $1,000s. So he arranged with them a payment plan, but apparently that's not good enough to turn his water back on. He estimates with his income that it'll take him easily 1.5 to 2 years to pay off that total lien. And I don't understand, is there an ordinance or anything that says until that thing that may or may not involve his water portion of the lien, until that entire balance is paid off, he can't get his water turned back on?
But you certainly could interpret it that way from that, but as far as at least it's secured with a tax assessment. But if there's money, understand a tax assessment is not every month. That's only for a period of time, once or twice a year. So in the meantime, though, there are other bills that accumulate. They got to be up to date with those other bills as well.
I don't, of course, know all the details. I just telling.
If it's just sitting there, they're still getting billed, and that other. Go ahead, John.
So if this particular property is current within our system, but not with the tax assessments?
You know, this actually is a very timely issue, and I'll tell you why. The Sixth Circuit has been busy in a number of areas. One, we have our moment of silence because of the Sixth Circus and the Bournemouth case. They also just had a case, February 27, 2017, and understand we're under the U.S. Court of Appeals Sixth Circuit here, so we have to follow their rules. And it was NIPCO Inc. versus City of Lebanon. And what happened was there's a municipal, the City of Lebanon didn't have a lot of specifics on past due. And so basically the Sixth Circuit said, well, you need to have more specific language in respect to billing errors which may occur in favor of members of, in this case it was a member of the Public Power Partners and under statute, but the lawyer for them says this may apply to other areas as well. And actually I have some, and I'm sorry for talking so much, but this is really opportune. There's some suggested ordinance language to talk about bills that are past due and addressing these issues. This, I'll mention his name, John Bentine out of Columbus, who represents a lot of people. A lot of villages have their own power companies, etc. But they believe this can affect other areas, and I think we should talk about it in water sewer. I'm trying to turn to the suggested ordinance. And we can address that issue, and maybe we should address that issue and get more specific since this is a recent decision. On computing reading, they have an ordinance that on inaccurate readings, that happens of course in the winter here, right? Because the meters are covered. Full recovery, time, sort of a statute of limitation on recovery, things like that. And we can also address what is the collection method if on the unsecured portion of a water or sewer bill, and whether we should reinstate if the unsecured portion is paid up to date. So that's something as a political decision not only can you address, but I think because of this decision from the Sixth Circuit, NIPCO versus City of Lebanon, I think it's something we should address. And I would like to hear comments as to how perhaps you would like to have that ordinance drafted. what type of policy you would like to hear in the form of an ordinance, because I think that's what the Sixth Circuit is looking for. And that's a February 27th case. That came across my desk yesterday.
Well, I think it would be nice to have a draft to view kind of how it's
What-
structured in some other places.
Well, I can't,
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
some of it
yeah.
really is a political decision that requires political input on your part too, because there are elements of fairness. Unlike the ordinance, the resolutions for the fire levy, those have to be done a certain way. That's all there is. We have no choice. And so I follow the statute and all the rules and regulations. This has a lot of political input and fairness that you all have to decide as well.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm getting at. I think we start with a draft copy and kind of figure out kind of the scheme, the basic outline of what you're talking about structure, and then we need to talk about how we, modify it to make it workable within our organization or our village or whatever.
Well, if I'm just going to draft it all on my own, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to draft something that says the secured portion, of course, that has to be just with the treasurer. We cannot collect on that. Any monies we take, it has to be clear that it's on the unsecured portion, and if they're up to date on the unsecured portion, then turn it back on. But if they're not up to date on the unsecured portion pursuant to our other ordinance, then it's not. It seems straightforward.
What is meant by unsecured portion?
Well, see what happens is if you're behind, twice a year we should be submitting, I think it's twice a year, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Twice a year we submit a list of bills that are behind to our utility, to the auditor's office, and they put a lien on the property. And so that is the bill is secured by the lien on the property, so long as if the property is sold, the village will get its money. I think also I would advise you that maybe there ought to be a limit if they have a tremendous lien on the property. I've known in other villages, somebody had over a $30,000 utility bill. And there's that, even though there was a lien on the property, there's no way that was going to ever be recovered by the village. So you may want to set a limit there as well.
So under all that you just read, that entire thing, that's what we base our decision on not turning this water back on until that entire lien, unsecured lien, which involves other bills other than his water, until he's got that paid off, he gets no water?
Well, the only active ordinance right now that I'm aware of is monthly due dates the 15th, no past due balance exceeds 15 days, shall exceed 15 days.
Okay.
So that could
Again,
be all-inclusive, but you can free it up a little bit if you want.
my understanding is he's paid his back arrears. He came in yesterday with, I think it was $30 reconnection fee, and was told, nope, still not going to do it until your deal's set. So he went again, second time up to the county. They said, there's no way we can separate your water situation that did reach the lien department from the other, and they said they've never heard of service being turned off
With all due respect,
because of that.
I was following the ordinance, and I told him not to pay the $30 reconnect fee yet until we had this meeting to find out what to do.
Now, what are chances if you did turn it back on? You'd had trouble before,
Well,
you
that
might.
doesn't, you
Yeah, I know
can't
that,
do
but he would pay maybe 1 month and then he'd be 3 months behind. I mean, he wasn't regular in making his payments anyway.
This
15
is-
days it's
See,
shut
this is
off.
the thing,
This
you know.
is-
Right?
This, under this, he would be shut off, and this is one of the shortest, I remember when this was enacted, this is one of the shortest shut-off periods. It keeps you from owing money to the village, that's for sure, but it's very short. So I don't think, Joyce, that situation where they fall 3 months behind would occur.
But we do work with them.
Yeah.
Well, apparently not working with this gentleman.
No, wait a minute, Stan.
Tax
Wait a
assessment.
minute.
Yes, we work with them on their current bill.
Let me just get from a general feeling at least. recovery, unsecured, up to date on versus secured? What's the maximum secured debt that you want before you say, no, we're not going to deal with you because we're already upside down with money owing to the village? The example is, you know, the harsh but reality, $30,000, which was a real situation.
But not this situation.
No, I know, but I'm trying to give you something to work with to tell me. I don't want to tell you. It's you all are the politicians. You need to tell me.
What do you think, 1,500, that's about a year.
Like I say, because it's roughly,
But
You're gonna have to add that up, figure that out for certain.
yeah.
Because you've got sewer-only properties that are more than what your normal sewer-only bill is in town. You've gotta figure out that money to differentiate.
Yeah, we can't just pull that over, but I think we gotta do some research.
I
on
think,
these numbers.
I think this particular individual is a tax assessed part of the water thing is over $3,000, isn't it? Or around 3,000?
I would have to look to see. I don't know, because once we hand it over to the county, we can't collect on it, so I don't know.
But would you like to say, John, that, when it was shut off before for lack of payment, he turned it back on himself,
I did find that.
you know, and,
But, I guess I need you guys to tell me what you want me to do.
Well, it
Because
seems to
we've
me we're
been-
trying to bring people into the village and attract people, and I, just yesterday, and they may be here, I don't know all the people that are attending, said they're coming here tonight because they're thinking about moving to Bettsville. So we're trying to attract people to the village, and yet we can't turn a guy's water back on, and if he doesn't pay it next month, it goes off again. To me, it's simple. He's made the arrearage payments, he's paid any penalties as far as our water billing, and he came in with the turn-on fee, and yet we won't turn it on. He's done everything, the way I look at
You
it.
want me to follow an ordinance or a policy for everything else, but you don't want me to
This
follow
ordinance,
one?
you're talking about this ordinance?
Absolutely.
This doesn't address turning it back on if the past due has been paid, he's coming in with the reconnect. It doesn't talk about that in this ordinance. It
But
just
the
talks
past
about
due
what
hasn't
shuts it
been
off.
paid.
It says no past due balance shall exceed 15 days. So in other words, if you're past due, it's off.
Did he not,
This is extremely simple.
did he not come in here and pay his past due? Yes?
There's still,
I guess that's a yes. He came in and paid his past due.
Wait,
come on.
What's a yes or no?
Well,
no, it's
let
not.
John explain.
Did he come in and pay his past due
Time
bill?
out. John's at 4.
what we had on his account, yes. But what's on the account over at the county, no. That's still past due owed to.
That has nothing to do with his water bill.
It does.
It is his water bill.
That's what we assessed, was his water bill. What don't you understand about that?
He went to the county, set up a payment arrangement, which included his past due water bill, but he came in here and paid off the past due water bill. What he owes the county are other lien issues.
No,
No, that
he
does.
still, what he owes the county includes liens that we put forth.
The entire $3,000 he still owes the county is our water billing?
If that, you threw that number out
I
there.
threw it
don't
out,
know.
but I think that's around what it was, but I'm not 100%
Somebody put
sure.
that number out there. I don't know.
It's quite a bit, yeah, we
But
can.
yes, a large portion. This started in February of 2013 is when we sent a letter to him about a payment arrangement.
So, ballpark figure even, what is his amount that he still owes the village of Bettsville for water?
I have no
We have to
idea.
research it, we know. I mean, we don't have it right now.
I'd have to look up and see what was tax assessed.
It's whatever was tax excessive.
I tell you what, you all think about it. I heard one number over 1,500, no turn on. You all think about it. In the meantime, I'll draw it up. You can do it in any way you want. It can be I think it would be a 3 reading rule
Yeah.
run. And you can always, after the first reading though, you can amend it. You can say, yeah, we thought about it and this is what we think for the secured portion. But the unsecured portion is quite clear from that. You need to be up to date on
That
the
is paid.
unsecured.
That is current.
So all you have to do is address the secured portion and
Yeah.
if you have a different number other than the only one I've heard, you'll let me know. You can do that at the next meeting if you want.
Well, I don't
I'll
wanna
draw
leave
it up
this
in the
guy hanging
meantime.
for another month.
Can't we look up and see what it was taxes assessed, how much it was?
If you have 5 votes, you can waive a 3-reading rule. It's a financial issue, so we can do it as an emergency, but you have to have 5 votes.
I guess I still don't totally understand where we're at. I mean, apparently it's a sizable amount of money, it's still floating on the table, it hasn't been paid, right?
Right.
I mean, you're trying to circumvent the issues. I mean, you didn't pay the balance due. I mean, yeah, it's a tax assessed, but there's still quite a bit out there. Even if it's got a payment plan, I mean, I'm not sure, the money's not coming to us, is it?
The payment plan's with the auditor's office,
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah, but I mean.
We don't get any of that money?
Well,
We get the money?
Twice a year.
It comes to the village eventually.
Okay.
Rob, you got a thought process?
First I want to understand that the majority of this assessment, tax assessment, is about the water bill. Is that my understanding
tax
correct?
assessment is.
I don't think it is, though. That's my understanding. It's-
I don't
Yes, I
know what
understand.
his other tax assessments are, if he has any or not.
Okay.
All I know is we have money owed to us that has been turned into the county.
My concern is this. We can have somebody go in arrears a certain amount of money. And once we, out of futility, we turn it over to the county, okay, then all he has to do is catch up to date what we didn't turn over to the county.
Right.
Okay, and all of a sudden he gets turning the water back on. Well, when you do that, let's say it's $1,000. The rest of the community has to pay that $1,000. It's not free money. Every resident in here is gonna get a piece of that. And that's not fair to the rest of the residents. Things do happen, okay, and sometimes, as being part of a community, sometimes those are lumps you have to take. But we shouldn't do it unnecessarily. I mean, if we got a guy, and I'm talking about the water bill now, okay? I'm not talking about his property taxes, I'm talking about water bill. If we have to make an assessment, anything over $1,000, okay, then no, we don't turn it back on until you make good that $1,000. I mean, if you really want your water on, you'll find a way to pay $1,000, okay, and that's all there is. And the other part that and I'm gonna take this as rumor, but it did bother me to hear, since it came, I heard it from Joyce, but I also think I heard it from you, John, that he tried to turn his water back on.
It had been disconnected, then there ended up being usage a month later.
So he didn't turn it back on, it was turned back on. But there was usage, okay.
It was turned back on, so then I made it.
You tried doing that with the power company and see what happens to you. You're gonna go to jail.
That's basically theft. I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
You're gonna go to jail.
Yeah,
So, to me, when you start dealing with that sort of thing, that kinda, for me, I'm just my personal opinion, that kinda taints the situation. So, I think that there should be a amount that we give Rick. I don't think it should be too awful generous, because whatever we say out there, the rest of the residents are gonna pay for it. We don't have any choice, we're governed by the EPA.
Right.
So,
To a point. We're home rule. So a lot of EPA, a lot of the public utility, I think you meant,
yeah.
rules
Right.
don't apply because we're home rule versus they're applying to
I stand corrected.
a private water company.
But still, there's expenses to the village, and we expect a certain amount of income from that to take care of the water, so it's not a drain on the rest of the finances of the village.
Rob makes a good point that the residents shouldn't be required to pay someone else's bill. And John, just 3 minutes ago, asked, do I not want him to follow the ordinance? That goes with the ordinance that says, no village credit cards.
Hold it, we already said we weren't gonna.
Out of order. I'm discussing an issue here. So if you're gonna follow that ordinance, follow all ordinances, the one that says, don't pay for for your own drinks with a village credit
It wasn't his
card.
own right.
That's in order to, you did.
I drank right
You want me to show you that you did? Right here.
Can you prove that John drank it
Y'all
himself?
understand, well, the
Right there.
closed. The subject's
I didn't
closed.
say he drank it, but he bought them.
Stan, the subject's closed, we've already discussed it.
If I want to talk more about the subjects on the agenda, I will. You cannot tell me that if we're discussing this, I'm being shut off. I'll talk as long as I'd like.
You had the floor at one time. and you were-
I got
You
the
guys are
floor
far.
again, because it ties right in. He asked me a question, don't I want him to follow the ordinance? Okay, follow this ordinance, but also follow this ordinance.
That's not an ordinance, that's monster. not an
Oh,
ordinance.
no, credit card policy ordinance.
You held up monster, I don't drink that.
I didn't say you drank it, you bought it. That's the crime. And trust me,
That
it's
was
a
the problem
crime.
you used. Okay, so, as it stands, as this discussion right now, and we're not gonna turn the water back on, because there's issues there. So, and
Till
it's not
we
fair, it's
resolve
not-
this.
Until it's resolved, we understand where,
So the homeowner goes without water while we try to figure it out.
well, he created the mess himself, we didn't do this. It's not the council didn't create this.
I think we're
My-
assuming he
my-
created the mess himself. He's paid
My
his bill.
advice is we have to follow this ordinance until we get another one in to carve some exceptions in.
But this doesn't touch on turning it back on.
Well, actually, it does be, in, if you're reading it, no past due shall exceed 15 days or water shut off. So in other words, they gotta be back on in order to turn it back on. They have to be paid up to
He
turn it
did,
back
he
on.
is. His water bill with the
Except-
village is paid up.
Except that we're also talking about a secured and unsecured portion.
But
So
this
most
doesn't
of,
address that.
so from what I've heard, most of the water bill, thousands of dollars are still due and owing, it just happens to be tax assessed. So when we're talking, what we've been talking about here, from what I understand is shall we do it if he's up to date with the unsecured portion, and how much of a secured portion do we allow in order to turn it on? So the only number I heard was 1,500, that's the one I'm putting down unless you all tell me another
I
number.
said 1,000.
1,000, do I hear 950?
Come on.
I'm just telling you that
It's,
$1,000
y'all make a
times-
decision, I don't write them.
How many households in
You know,
Bettsville?
you make that.
How many houses in the water, roughly?
There's roughly, with water or water and sewer?
Well, the water.
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 Water itself, there's roughly 300.
So that's
Okay,
$3.
so if we have 1%.
And please do not divulge any identities here.
We have to do without.
Pardon?
I just said in all of this, as we're talking, please do not divulge identities.
Yes.
All right, I'd simply like to make a motion that we turn this property's water back on until we figure out what the heck we're doing. Any second? Lean in the advantage of a resident of our village. How much water is he gonna use in a month that it takes to figure this out that's gonna break the bank?
Well, he's already broke the bank once.
No, he didn't break no bank once.
We didn't pay the bill.
Have you ever missed a bill?
No, I haven't.
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right, so I make the motion on record that we turn this resident's water back on, lean in his favor, we figure it out. It doesn't seem that unreasonable to me. Nobody else wants to turn your water back on when you're watching this video. Remember that.
What number?
Don't move here.
What number?
I think twice about it under the current circumstances.
You're entitled to your opinion.
I heard 1,500, I heard 1,000. Is there a consensus as to?
I think
If
$1,000
you go
is
with my
good.
vote,
I do 1,000.
an even 1,000. Understand, that'll have to be verified by the treasurer's office when you do it. Is
Okay.
that a,
It's fine.
That's fine.
all right, we'll
Just
see
go
where
down
that
fast,
goes.
Take a while to do it. It'll take 3 months or whatever. We'll start working through it.
So we're agreeing on $1,000.
Well, I have to write up an ordinance to
I
that
understand
effect.
that.
Yeah.
And so,
We're talking about the ordinance right now.
we're processing sausage, and then we'll see how it turns out next time you
understand.
meet.
If you guys are in agreement on $1,000.
You're following the ordinance until there's a new
Yeah, we
ordinance.
have-
Yes, sir.
What we're saying is $1,000 assessed. If it's
I
more than
understand.
1,000, okay.
I understand.
But if it's more than,
If it's more than that, we don't, it doesn't matter how caught up he is in his unsecured, we don't turn it back on. He will still have to catch up on his unsecured, regardless.
What I was kinda getting at is if he's under this particular property's under $1,000 now, can we do something about it now, knowing that you guys are?
Not until we
Not
draft the
now.
ordinance.
Get the res-
Not until we
You
draft the
can
ordinance.
call a special meeting, you can do all sorts of things, but you need an ordinance to
You want
vote
to put
on
together or make a
with
change.
5 votes if it's gonna be quick.
Would anybody think that if this same situation involved his electric bill, and he went into the electric company, paid off the balance, even though he had lien assessments on his house, they would not turn his electric back on if he paid his balance and paid the reconnect fee? I believe they would.
Don't address me, this is you guys' ordinance.
It just seems to me that you take pleasure in frustrating a homeowner. This isn't the only example. I'm just saying, does anybody think the guy's electric would not be come back on under the same circumstances? Wouldn't you think his electric would come back?
If he paid
Electric
it-
company
if he
says, oh,
paid
you're
in
paid up
full."
now, you know, and here's the reconnection fee, good to go. They couldn't care less about his lien assessment at the county.
His lien at the county, the only reason.
I'm
we're-
just asking, would the
if-
electric company do the same thing? I don't think so.
If they tax assess somebody, they would.
Okay.
I guess what you want to say, Bill, but
I'd
please.
say he had a chance to work with the village and decided not to. That's how it went to assessment. And it's still an
Wouldn't you
unpaid
consider
bill.
him paying his bill back and coming in with a reconnect fee? His attempt at working with the village?
Yeah, well,
What else
we
could he
gotta make
do?
this resolution to change it. No,
Thanks for your
No.
insight, Bill.
like a electric company. Now, if they had a lien on your place because unpaid bill, I'm sure they ain't gonna turn your electric back on if you still owe them back money.
It was the same for natural gas or any of that stuff, it would be all the same thing. I mean, that's why you have utility companies. There's a cost for that service, a cost for that commodity. You know, you don't pay for that service, you don't pay, you're not gonna get it. Bottom line is,
It
it's
just
no
doesn't,
different.
it's different.
logical.
Public and private companies are different.
All right.
Okay. Let's go. And what you go?
Back to where I was at. Okay, that was the last thing, okay, with public comment?
I'd like to comment before I leave.
Yes.
I used to cover this, about 10 or 12 years ago for the Advertiser Tribune. We lived over here. And some of the faces are familiar. We never had meetings this lively. I tell you, this is something. I never saw a group, such a big group, at any of the meetings I've covered for. I got here a little bit late, and I don't know what kind of disruption these folks were causing that made us have to wait until the end to do the comments, because
You're 100% right.
they look pretty quiet to me. And I do want to say that the best thing I ever did in my life was to move away from your little hellhole. You are nasty.
Yeah.
You are nasty.
Yeah.
You go, Stan.
Hey,
Be the light.
Be disrespectful to the,
Yeah,
I mean, you
well,
can have
I'll
an
tell you what.
opinion.
Yeah,
you know.
and I do have an opinion. I've watched her mock, and I've watched people out here mock and make fun of things that Stan's trying to do, whether you like it or not. You have no business mocking anybody and laughing at him. Monster, you big monster. You guys are nuts, Stan.
What-
I'm one of y'all.
Thank you.
Everyone's sticking around here.
Get a job.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
nobody else is
quiet,
mocking. You
please.
guys up there.
Next, please.
You represent the professionals, where you
All
are
right.
not.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Am I right to speak?
Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Rick Eisenhower, and I own the house 419 Thomas Street. For several issues, for 5 minutes, I'm gonna cover them, but I'd like to at least touch on base on something, please.
Okay, sure.
And cut me off, and I'll shut right
Okay,
up.
fine.
Either one. All right. I'd like to start off with, every year they come down to my trailer, and they knock on our doors, in fact, they do, and they ask me to sign a paper, and they express to me how important it is, because down here we're low income, and the lower the income is based on the amount of money that they can be applied to returning grant money. So therefore, I mean, give me a pat on the back. If I would fill it out, I'd be doing the community a great favor. And in fact, excuse me,
is it bad to mention who it was?
No.
How to do, right?
Yeah.
And Linda do. And I have some issues for several, I've been talking 3 years, I've been trying to figure out the last grant money, that was the repave, the temporary pavement. All right, and I've been asking questions now. And I turned around and even one of our sons, he told me if I would sign that piece of paper, because I told him about that, because it upset me. You come down and want me to sign the paper and do it, gratitude to you. I've been asking for a copy of this for 3 years, and questions.
Copy of what? Copy of what?
When that, on private property or alley was blacktop, originally Thomas Street was approved, they showed up and they did it. Well, according to everything I find, it was private property. Even the sheriff confirmed that. I'm not allowed to walk in that alley. It's private property. I got told to stay off. But I've been talking with him about it. He said if I would sign it, you'd give me a copy of the paper. I still ain't got it. Or that contract. I'd like to read it. I actually have read some of that eventually, finally. But pretty much everything what I thought was kind of true. I mean, I talked with you, and the time for you promised that the last time right in the middle of the conversation, I have other issues. I want to try to get that day. You turn around, walked away, went in and finished the conversation, or hear out my second complaint. Same way that happened year before and the year before. I got 2 issues. You talk to one, you say stop, and you don't want to hear my second one. And I politely backed off, and I stepped back. Sure, I went in there and it kind of made me mad and bruised, but I kept my mouth shut and sat back pretty much just waiting. There's times it does bother me. What's wrong with me examining or asking questions?
What is the issue when you want to examine the transfer of the property for the street?
This moment, right there was a grant. Now you tell me, here's the question. This will solve my problem, maybe. You tell me, from the start, I know you wasn't mayor at the time they started this grant, as Linda was, excuse me. And then, but before, you told me even that you never had nothing to do with it, that you have no involvement with that, none of it was done prior to you, correct?
What?
The paving, well, it would be where, the House State Patrol lives, the alley, the prosecutor.
Yeah.
That was blacktop. And I know you weren't mayor at the day it was blacktop, but then there's finished paperwork comes later, and the state inspector is a long time later. But you told me you wasn't exactly familiar with it when I first brought the problem to you. You would investigate it, and you have no knowledge or weren't involved in no part of it, correct?
Well, I don't know that, I'm not 100% sure what you're saying. Because I brought, you was asking questions about, I said we had to have Arnie, or as they showed on the paper somehow, that he owned the street out front.
Well,
and that we need,
Arnie's on this side, that's either map, the other map's my driveway. So, there was a confusion on the street. It goes back to the 150-year-old grapevine, that's my alley, or my street.
Yeah.
So, there was a confusion. As far as that, you used to come back confused, and I go, I'm right, I'm double checked it. If you go by the one map, I live on Thomas Street, and would you agree there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And, some people called it the home, or the Liberty Park, they gave that back, property was sold to individuals. But if you go to the one prior to that, the only one you said it might be confusion, and then that road would come right down and go right down my driveway, right to where that 150-some-year-old grapevine was that died, and that's my backyard. In fact, right up to my barn, you would have paved my driveway instead of this other private driveway.
So let me understand this, because I'm still confused. So are you saying the road's on your property, or I guess?
Well, there was a confusion. They was trying to call that Thomas Street, and there was some hand-drawn maps and everything, where the State Highway Patrol left going back, and then it's got 2 left turns. Then it goes 40 feet onto a vacant lot. There's 2 trailers sitting there, but they're only registered as a $700 shed sitting there. There's not residential property. There's no, that's vacant lots. But somehow or another that got blacktopped, and the owner of that 2 properties who's renting them called the sheriff on me for walking down that black alley. So I got told that it's private property. Well, she says 10 years ago, which I know this is true, well, excuse me, I don't know, 10 years ago, there was an access road there. And it actually runs on both sides of the creek, and I own 208 feet of that creek. And yeah, there's an access road from there, and they can take a right, and I have to allow them in. Okay, I ain't got a problem with that. But there was the same way on that property. Well, after 2002, they were supposedly hoping to get blacktop down there and didn't. they got mad and went down there and filed and had the access road removed. And they come up with a new road. Now, then the property reverted back to the owners. So it's actually private property. Now I got blacktop. Now I'm gonna kind of be quite there, but I ain't saying I'm right. I'm saying that's what my
I think we gotta
investigation
fix the
shows me.
context of- I hear what you're saying, but I think there's a couple issues going on here. First off, I think you have to look at the context of that road, which is, what's the name of it now, John? Did we
Thomas.
change-
No,
No,
that
not
alley is
Thomas.
not Thomas.
No, you're thinking of forestry.
Forest.
Forestry?
Because the problem was, that was originally railroad property, and we found that problem when they did the survey by the state, when they was.
May I ask a question, sir?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You're talking about on what's that, on the same side I'm
Well,
talking about on,
what I'm
now,
getting-
you're talking on the other side, are you talking about where Arnie and the railroad is, or are you talking about, are you talking about, west of
Well,
Elm?
I'm trying to figure out where the boundaries you're talking about, so we can figure this
Okay,
straight out.
may I explain, or, if you thought I'm gonna interrupt you, I apologize.
No.
I mean, 'cause I kinda did, 'cause I wanna clarify myself. Well, like, right here's Elm Street, here's Thomas. Now, here's the railroad tracks, and there's a dippity-doo, that's
Yeah.
one Arnie's in question, I'd rather not talk about it, 'cause I don't wanna get involved with someone else's problem. All right, then you take a right, and you go down, 40, 50 feet, you can take a left, and this was blacktop 5-6 years ago. And the first house is where a real nice guy on patrol lives. Then you go past his house, there's 2 left turns coming back to Elm, and then right where that second left turn from there is about another, I guess, 50, 60 yards feet of blacktop, and it goes to a lot where there's 2 trailers, but they're vacant lots on as far as property. I mean, me and you discussed, and you said you knew that, okay? And from everything I've learned, if someone shows me something I'm not aware of, they're vacant lots. And that's that claim property. I got called on for trespassing, and the Seneca County Sheriff's told me to stay away, just, go around the other way, stay away from there.
Well, I
That's
think-
private
I
property.
think
So in other
we-
words, unless I'm wrong, you blacktop private property.
Well, that might be a case, because I
And
think.
I'm not trying to argue,
Yeah,
but
I think-
I thought the contract said that, or the grant money, excuse me, to pay the temporary patches, which would have been Thomas Street. Now, wait a minute, I don't know, the Pino's got your name on it. If you didn't sign it, then right there, I'll just have it opened up there, because
I
that's
think
a
we need
project
to, I think we need to
signature.
investigate that, because I mean. 'cause
Yeah, I'm
we
sorry,
have- we
I've
have
been with this
information.
5 years before
Yeah.
hostilities, because I was told them I'd get this answers, but turn around, I got other issues.
Okay.
The other 2 issues, I don't know.
Well, let's John
When
tell
that
you.
alley was paved, that was CDBG grant money,
Okay.
and it was for strictly alleys.
Yeah, okay.
For what?
It was strictly for alleys. It was not for streets. It was CDBG grant money.
So it was defined what that had to be spent on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, like I said, we need to
All right,
understand.
well, the state document's wrong. I'm sorry, I mean, I read it, and apparently,
Well,
well, I asked for that document.
So what could council do to resolve this
I
situation?
don't know, I mean, I've asked for that grant, or what can I read it? I've asked for a copy, I
Oh.
was promised by signing that paper, you would give it to me. That was 2 years ago.
Well, let's investigate, let's just understand.
I mean, yeah, I mean, let me
Well,
read
we'll
it.
investigate.
I mean, I read the
You should-
document, but it's not, excuse me, I apologize, it's not what you explained, anything ain't right.
Right.
I'm saying I read one, I must have read the wrong one.
Well, we need to see what.
Because it
see what-
should be able to go up to tax map office and,
Yeah, we could probably go. on
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And see where the property, because I mean,
I
I
mean,
mean, you got a couple different issues.
What
going
he,
there.
no, it was when he told me, he goes, why am I upset? Your road's paid, in fact, your driveway's paid, right? And I said, no.
Okay, okay.
And
Well,
there's
we're
a big-
we're
well,
investigating.
I'm
we
sorry, I
just,
apologize.
we
That's
just
what he told
approved
me.
tonight to do Thomas Street,
No,
so you're gonna get.
no, I heard that, but I still wanna go back and, I mean, right now, I'm told by the Seneca County Sheriff, I can't walk down that
Well, I
aisle.
think-
It's private property.
Yeah.
I think we need to find out.
Yeah, I mean, and
So we
if
need-
the case
we'll
of woman's
investigate
putting
it.
it, they said they're renting property, you know it, and she's renting property and it says vacant lot. Excuse me, but I mean, she's gonna tell me I can't walk down her alley, she owns
Okay.
it, and my tax dollars pay for it? I mean,
Well,
at that point, it was done, I was working.
Okay,
I'm on Social
give us a
Security now,
chance to
but I work at
investigate it.
Simmons Roofing.
Because we right now, you know.
All right, I'm fine, and I'm probably,
We'll figure it out. We'll
5 years trying to get
we'll
in.
look at it and see what we can figure out.
And then, 2, unfortunately, I am stolen, I talked to the Bettsville Police Department, I talked to Brandon on the phone, I tried to get Brandon on the phone, I tried to talk to you about it, and you turned around and walked, I said 2 issues, you turned around and walked away, and, I had to call the Seneca County Sheriff, they said, no, he emailed Brandon called me, actually that phone was, someone allowed it to be listened to. and I'll just drop it out, but I'm gonna seek,
I'm not sure what you're saying there, I don't, what are you saying?
all right, at the point the police officer called me,
Okay,
well, he put blame on someone here, but anyhow, that conversation was, someone allowed it to be listened to.
I mean,
Well,
I
think
don't
that's
know, I
where-
wasn't there, so I don't know.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I
there
don't
was
know.
the conversation with me and the policeman, he put blame here on someone, why nothing got done over something stolen from him. And I pushed for him, the cop went, long story short, it's recorded, it's in the state hands, but anyhow, I'm, between that and I got one other issue, but anyhow, let's try, I'm gonna
Okay,
put a
let's
lawsuit
just
against
focus
the
on the one
village.
issue that we
Well,
can do.
tomorrow morning, I'm tired, I've been 5 years. I'm putting a large lawsuit against the city, it's already tapped, there's already a special prosecutor involved. But I'm just, I mean, for 5 years, I couldn't get no answer, can't get nothing.
You have the right to do that. if you have an
Exactly, and I
issue.
mean, it's not a problem to address something that, I mean, I've been trying to get answers. I've waited 5 years, I've been nice as pie.
Well,
I mean, every time this man would talk to me, come back, and even last time he turned around and walked away from me. Well, I mean, at what point do I draw the line?
You already did your
Thank
direction
you.
right there, so that's
Yeah, you-
that's
thank
what
you,
you're gonna do.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you for allowing me to talk.
You bet.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Yes, I'd like to say something real quick. I was that person that reached out to Stan that was thinking about moving here, and I don't know if Gary remembers me, but I come to the bar sometimes. It's a great place, I mean, small community. I'm from Clyde. I mean, we're decent size, but I mean, John, is it? I mean, I worked for Apple, and I had 9 people under me, and he works for the whole city, so I can understand the stress he has. I mean, I just have 8 people I have to attend to. He has to attend to, like, I don't know how many people's in the city, or village. But I mean, I see all the arguing going on. I mean, I went to a Clyde, Clyde had one of these, and Clyde's just as bad. I mean, we go 8 hours, and this is just 2 or 3 hours. But I like the small community, and I'm still wanting to move here. Just gotta find the perfect place. But I really like how the community seems like it's together. I mean, it's willing to work with each other. I mean, that's important, because that's why we have these meetings right here. So I just want to get that across. So, I mean, and by the way, if there's any places that are available, I mean, please let me know. I mean, I can give you my information so you guys can call me.
Are you to buy or rent?
You know what, I have this philosophy, I like to rent so I get to know the community better and see how close I can get with the community, because I don't want to buy something and then live here and then not like it, or people are just rude or something.
Sure.
So, I mean, whatever's available, please let me know. I mean, I make decent money working for Apple, so I mean, nothing's not above me or anything, so.
This community has all favors like all communities, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, just, if you guys, I mean, I'll leave my information, of course. I mean,
Sure.
please get back to me. I mean, I'm sure I'll see Gary at the bar.
Yeah, give Angela
Contact information.
contact information, okay?
Okay, and that's all I wanted to say. I mean,
Okay, well, thank you.
So thank you for
Thank
allowing
you.
me to come too.
Okay. Anybody
Thank
else?
you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Of course. Here it comes.
Here comes what, Joyce?
Yes, Joyce, I'm here.
Yep.
So maybe you missed me.
No.
Okay, we was at, Dan Kracher, we was at the, little meeting at, over Tiffin for the sunshine laws and stuff. You was there, Gary, Joyce, Stan. Okay, during that meeting, you guys here talked about being qualified for a job and stuff, and Melissa Crocker stated that if you wasn't qualified for a position, a person must leave that position. My question to this is, you guys talked at a meeting one time about John going back to school and getting his water and waste or whatever he needs to stay in his position and to be qualified. Now, the thing of it is, we pay Dave Clark over $1,059. I don't know if that's a month or every 2 weeks or a week. I don't know. Haven't went into it. But anyway, if you add that up to back when John first started, hell, you're talking over $200,000. That's just roughly. That it's costing us, the people of Bettsville here, for tax money. Wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
And I talked to Melissa at the meeting, and I also to get my facts straight. And I called the prosecuting attorney's office over in Seneca County about this. So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. You know, either get John back to school or whatever you want to do.
No.
So
No, go ahead.
I
No, go ahead.
want to ask you something. Do you realize that John just doesn't work for the sewer and the water? He does the village administrator.
That's
he's the street-
immaterial to me, I don't care. The
Well,
thing of it, no, the
you're
thing of it
making it
is,
sound like he only is getting
No,
that
I
kind of
didn't-
money for doing the sewer.
I did not say that. You said that. So do you feel guilty about it or what?
Well, hell
The
no,
thing
I
of
don't
it
feel
is,
guilty.
I know you don't, but the thing of it is, we're paying another man to do a job that John should be qualified to do. And that's what the state and the federal government says when you use taxpayers' money. It's under federal and state statute. That's what Melissa Crocker told me. So, you guys do whatever you want to do. Now, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about that. I'd like to see John go back to school, get his damn license so he can stay. I have nothing against John Dabrunz. But the thing of it is, also too, I got these copies of the pay list. I'd like to come in either on a Friday, Wednesday, or whatever, and look at all the receipts that you have, the bills, actual bills. Same way with the credit cards. I want to see the receipts for the credit cards. So I can go through and match them up with what's on these. So, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
And just so you know, Dan, John was hired as street first and then as administrator. He was not hired for sewer and water.
Well, that's immaterial because he's in the position. And like I say, I have nothing against John. Just let's get it back in the school.
position, so I understand. What position am I in that requires me to run a water and
You-
sewer plant?
Because you're the administrator, and that's what Melissa Crocker said. That's what your job is entitled to be, is you must have a license to handle or even do anything at the water or sewer plants. That's it. And
If-
state.
If John wasn't hired to do that, who was?
Dave Clark.
Dave Clark. And
But also too, you guys
And
got in the
Jerry
books that
before
you
Jerry.
replaced him.
No,
In the
we
minutes.
don't. We
Yeah,
don't.
it was in the minutes, you guys.
And
He did not
Uh, Uh, oh, oh,
re-
oh,
replaced Dave.
James
Never
administrator.
said I replaced him, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it just says.
No,
it doesn't.
No, it
I
doesn't.
got, you guys give me the damn evidence.
Well, you bring it
guys
in.
get up there
Show it.
and throw
No,
all the
you're
damn
not.
books at me. Oh, this is here. You guys satisfied now? Well, yeah, I took them. Start going through them. Start checking things out. You know? So, I mean, you guys can sit there and laugh all you want, but, you know, this is what come down. You know? And then with Stan with the credit cards and stuff, you know, that's federal and state debt. You can't use taxpayers' money. And I told John that a long time ago. So, I mean, you know, guys,
So you have an
let's wake up.
opportunity, you do what you need to do.
So,
What do we gotta do?
well, that's what we're
I mean,
doing.
that's what you're telling us.
I'm just,
You're just telling
I'm
us
here
all made it right
to
here.
explain to you what's going on. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
That's right.
So, you know, when it comes down to it, and then the right of way, I gotta ask you, John, is the right of way in the alley, what's the right of way? 8 feet? 10 feet? 10? That's easy to go over to. All right.
Okay, anybody else?
Charles Hall, 203 Elm Street. First of all, again, let me thank all the council people for your service, and I appreciate it a great deal. First of all, since it's a bandwagon, I have been feeling left out. So I have come tonight with a records request, and I put it in writing. And first of all, let me say, I'm going to give that to you since you're presiding tonight, President of Council. First of all, let me define reasonable time. Please do not have people working extra hours or taking away from their extra duties to do this. My only request is, I want a copy of every, and all I want is a copy of every record request that's been made in the last 3 years. Please don't put mine in there as a joke. I won't put mine there. It's funny as you would like to put it right now.
If I just may stop, records requests, they can be in writing, but they can be oral, so.
And they
it
can
may
be
or may not-
anonymous.
I'm sorry?
They can be anonymous, too.
Right, and so that may or may not be possible if it's not noted.
And this, Mr. Palua, since there's only 2 of us probably in this room that can go to some sort of meeting and give a legal opinion on something, it will say if there is no record in this record request, all I ask is, this is the best we got. And I don't want any time taken away. I do want to comment on this monster situation. And again, you know, we had this election and we had all these things being said about fake news, and I'm tired of that term. I really am, but I'm going to use it tonight just to make sure I wear it out a little bit more. Fake news. We've heard all this. I'm going to tell you, and this is from my position. First of all, am I happy with the 6th District Court of Appeals? I can literally lose my license for criticizing them, but I will. You guys made a brave decision with the prayer. I don't agree with it, of course. I say, full forward, but you guys are the one that's got to keep the lawyers and the insurance companies happy. So let me just speak on that issue. Tough decision, and I'm glad you guys, it's not one you'll get any credit for, I promise. Number 2, this fake news with all this stuff. Jesus tells us, do to the lesser of us, and you'll see me. And this idea that you want to beat up on prisoners, okay, fine. They're in Crossways, and by the way, that's an Oriental House, which is a private company, which is a totally different correction, something that's something the sheriff doesn't direct. They came over here and they worked hard. Apparently worked to the satisfaction enough that somebody felt like maybe they should have a meal besides the sack lunch. The absolute fact that we would attack not only the goodwill of people who are over here working, who are giving up their time. Really?
Hey, Chuck, can I interrupt with a quick question?
No, this is my time.
Oh, sure, I just asked if I can ask you.
This is my time. I'm not allowed to speak. I waited till the end. I'm going to speak my piece. There is absolutely no excuse for the continued attack on these prisoners. They've done their time. I have sent and recommended some of these guys myself to jail, and I do it 2 days a week. I know Mr. Palau does it 3 days a week. It's not with joy that we send these guys off, but they do what they do.
Who attacked the prisoners, Chuck?
And what I want to understand is people who are so harsh. When people are so harsh, they will attack prisoners.
Who attacked the prisoners,
Who cannot have a word in this, who did nothing more but come over here and pick up sticks, who came over here and picked up yard raking, and maybe they took them out of the stuff out of the bed. Folks, I'm not trying to yell at anybody. Understand this isn't.
Well,
this includes
who picked up prisoners?
When we get into these conversations, we need to remember that we affect people's lives. They won't even come over now. Now, I've talked to Gary on a personal basis, and he's told me it has nothing to do with these controversies. But now we have to hire a seasonal help, and God bless us. I like the idea that we're going to give somebody some money who will pay some taxes. But folks, I kid you not, this continued attack.
Who attacked the prisoners, Chuck?
Stop.
Stan, you're online.
I'm asking a question related to your talking.
What happens here is reported
tell me to
on
stop,
Facebook.
You're out of order, Stan.
It's reported right there. I mean, for anybody that's got any question, it's right there. Go back and look at all the times that people have interrupted these meetings. People who have used language and set up here and used language, and yes, even you, Joyce, sometimes.
Yeah, I'm Nancy, remember?
But this little show that we had a few minutes ago, where this lady isn't even from town, she came over here and covered...
Little show
that the lady put on.
That's what you've got, is a little show.
Dance going on.
Melissa, maybe you should take him out of here.
Yeah, try.
Right now, it's just keep it calm.
It's
And
calm.
with council, you will have to ask for them to leave, and then they will be escorted out, but it's...
Well, I don't want to be any part of getting anything started.
I'd still like an answer who attacked the prisoners, Chuck, and how.
Stan, when people stand...
No answer?
When people stand and they say, well, they had bad lunches. They could have ate the old cold bologna.
Oh, okay.
And they could have ate those meals.
With all respect, can I ask you one other question?
You can ask me anything.
And it's a serious one. How do you or Gary know, by taking them to the bar, that might not have been a parole violation on one of those prisoners? Oh, you know that none of them are on parole. Somebody knows that.
Stan,
And taking them to a bar is a good idea, or maybe breaking parole.
All I know is, at all the times...
You ever think of that?
At all the times I've seen people sit at this table and state their positions, or people stand up here at this podium and say what they want to. I've seen one man who came in front of the cameras, in front of all these people, who apologized for what people are saying about. That man right there, and believe me, I don't get along with him all the time, but that man right there sat and apologized for what he did, and then he took the money out of his pocket and made it back. I wish Mr. Harris, I wish I was as good as you.
Do you need this, Chuck?
No, Stan, but you do bring pain. You do bring pain to my heart.
Oh, good.
And I do pray
Save
for
it
you,
for
Stan.
Sunday. I've had enough of you. I'm
Oh,
just saying.
enough.
You'll support other people who stand up here and want to say bad things about the community. I challenge you to say something good about the community instead of attacking the community.
I will say
Instead of
something good about the
attacking people
community.
that come in here.
You want me to say something good about the community? I had to watch my words here for a reason you won't understand for a while, but things are going to get cleaned up soon.
Like bleeding out, like a deer bleeding out. Stan, I'm a former deer hunter.
Good for
And
you.
to use that term, and the best you've got is a balloon. It looked like all the hot air went out of it when you gave the monster. Please, Stan, please, for the love of God.
Okay. So now
For
God's
love,
not on my
For
side.
love,
Gotcha.
keep the village open. Put your personal agendas aside. This I got you, I hate you politics that you're beginning to play. 66 votes, Stan. That's what you got.
Whatever.
66 votes. And that isn't what I came up with. That's, as they say in this building, that's what the records show.
Yeah, and the record also shows misuse of public money. Record also shows misuse of public money, son. In writing.
Before I have to say what I need to say, I will admit Gary has always been nice to me, and I do thank you for that. Anytime I've seen you, you said hi, whatever that you have. One thing that I want to kind of stipulate on here is more with the credit cards. Is the resolution number 2014-20, Village of Bettsville credit card policy. On the back of the statement here, it says, if the credit card cannot produce a receipt, you shall be responsible for reimbursement to the village. No personal purchases may be made with this card. All purchases not authorized in the budget must be council approved. In the event of willful and neglect default of obligation of the cardholder, the mayor of Bettsville shall take such recovery action as deemed appropriate by law. The mayor shall return his card upon request from the council or upon termination of his term of office. The village administrator card shall be returned upon request from village council. Here I have 9 charges that are charged to the Bettsville credit card. They start in June. One for the amount of $50.75. These are all to the Blue Eagle. Tax was included, or a tip was included. Then there's another one for $51.25. Then there's another charge to the Blue Eagle for $48.75 in July. The other 2 were from June. Then in July, again, there was one for $81.50. Then in July, again, there's another charge to Blue Eagle for $46 even. And right here is all the slips.
We've already seen
I've
them.
never seen, so what is your point, I guess?
What's the point? Yeah.
Okay. Then, the village administrator.
Okay, I just making sure
No.
Just making sure.
No, nothing.
I just wanted to make sure.
And then there's another one, August. These are all from 2015. To the Blue Eagle for $30.50. Then there's another one for August. To the Marathon gas station for $10.73. And this is for the gas station, and this right here is for the Blue Eagle again. Also, in September, these are on a Thursday, must have been taco night for the Blue Eagle, for $25.25, and another one on Thursday to the Blue Eagle for $46.25, which I do not have the receipts for those. So there's 9 charges to the Blue Eagle, all made from the administrator's card.
They should be all on Thursdays because that's when we got the crossways guys.
You don't have to explain it to me, you have to explain it to whoever.
We're already aware of it, so I don't.
You're already aware of it. I'm not commenting.
Thank you, Kim.
Anybody else?
Sure. I promise. I know I'm a minister, but I'll be quick. Jim Neville, I have met Pastor of Sealing United Methodist. I just want to clarify something real quick. You were talking about the Crossway people. I deal with them. They're drug addicts and addicts that are getting rehab, and they're locked up for a reason. I work with the judges that lock them up. Those people appreciate anything they get. Sometimes they leave with sack lunches, sometimes they don't. But I know they really appreciate everything. They work hard to do what they can. But some people, some people don't understand what Crossways is. It has nothing to do with the Sheriff's Department. And it's judges that actually put that place together. And Judge Winters and Judge Jay. And those kids, they really work hard to straighten our lives out. So.
Can I ask you a question in your professional work?
The way you were treated,
Brother, no need to apologize. This is God's land, not nobody else's.
In your counseling profession or work, and there's no right or wrong answer, do you personally feel that it's a good place? You just described the folks, former or current drug addicts, that type of rough situation that they found themselves. Is it a good idea to take them more than once to a bar?
I do it all the time. I take them to restaurants.
No, I said to a bar.
I do it all the time.
You go to a bar.
I know.
Okay.
They're not allowed to.
I appreciate your answer.
Well, I think one thing we gotta keep in context, I mean, we always say about the bar, but the issue, if you look at anything, or any restaurant, anything, almost, they all serve alcohol. I mean, you go, again, we talked about this earlier, but if you went out to the golf course, they serve burn stuff out there, because that's just the way society is today. All those restaurants and stuff, I mean, and you go to the hotel or somewhere to go, any place, they all serve liquor. So I guess it's just the way the resolution is written, probably needs to be addressed. The issue was, the reason we put the resolution in the first place is because we didn't have a policy on the issue, so we put a policy together. So, you put things together, you make mistakes to do it. So how you write something up, you change it, you move on. And they're living documents, it's just like anything else. It goes back to when I was in school with technical writing. I mean, words mean something, but you change a word, and it changes the whole context of what a body of the letter means. So it's what it is.
And just,
I mean, you can agree or disagree with it, but, there was no malicious intent or anything. We take the community, kids make mistakes, they had an opportunity to go out there.
If I can request this, just between you and me, can I do that?
I represent the village.
Okay, but can I ask that you don't go out and give this information? I mean, I'd like to share something in confidence, but
I sat in your shoes.
as long as you don't actively say, hey, come here, I gotta tell you something.
The drama that is being stirred up right now makes the people standing in the back corner see that. Social media is like the go-to spot right now. If you come to the city and what do? You Google search, you Facebook section. When you start seeing this drama, why do they want to be welcomed here?
Okay, I do.
And I can't even see half the post because I made a comment that a council member did not like, so I have been blocked and I cannot see such councilperson's comments. So when I see drama on Facebook and I can't see all the comments, I know somebody's still involved in that. And from a person who's been here for a handful of years, I would welcome new people into the community. And I would say, take what you see on Facebook with a grain of salt. Because there's a lot of drama that just wants to be stirred up, and that's what causes everybody here today, is because of what's been said in the last couple of months. And it's very negative. I don't know if you're trying to do good or not, but it is extremely negative for new people coming in to that's what they see. And it's very disheartening for somebody who volunteers time into fire service, EMS service, community events, park, to see that. And it's terrible.
To respond to that, like I said, I'm from Clyde.
Mhm.
I mean, we have more drama there than
Agreed.
anything. I mean, one time our
But for a
football
small
team,
town.
one time our football team lost and they wanted the mayor to be fired. And that was the Facebook post for
You don't have to worry
Monday.
about that, Gary.
So, I mean, this is actually nice.
No football team here.
When can I get with
That's
whoever to
good.
come in
I
and
don't
look
have to
at
worry about
the
that being on there.
receipts and
We
stuff?
come normal business hours, and they
What
can leave,
exactly
we have
ones
to
that you
schedule
want?
it.
Everything that you guys give, all the receipts are. Look it all.
Make a
Come
list,
in,
make
set
a
up
list,
the
make a
table.
list of what all you want, the dates and times, like we have a policy in place, make the request, and we'll
Okay.
accommodate it. And that's not in the public meeting, that's what the house together, so we don't have.
Well,
yeah,
Emma
others-
should have one.
Well, wait a minute, we get all the drama here and all the noise in the background, noise and all that stuff, we don't wanna miss anything, we wanna make sure that we, resolve your issues with, as
Well, yeah, I
requested.
just wanna come in, set table, and we'll go through this, everything.
Make arrangements, you know what basic hours are, make arrangements, and
Marty's all right, all right? Well, everything that you need, all the receipts,
yeah, 'cause
I
that-
just got these numbers.
Well, I've given you other requests, so I don't know what everything.
Well, yeah.
So that's why it's important that you define what you want, because that's, we have that right to do, you know, you
When
define what
I
you
was up
want.
there, I said, yeah, what you guys.
Well, like I said, that's why we have a policy in place that you can request and stuff, okay?
So you want the receipts that go with credit card copies?
So I can sit there and just go through this, everything?
Everything.
Everything. All the receipts?
For every credit card for how long?
For the credit card?
What,
And also the,
Whole bill.
is what he's saying, every time you use the credit card,
Yep,
you
that's
wanna make sure that every time they use a credit card,
that's not right.
oh, for God's
Okay.
sake, you know, you guys are sick.
But Rick, I might have a legal opinion, but I'm not sure, under sunshine law, the credit card
Numbers and stuff.
account numbers and,
What you do, what I've advised is
can we redact that or not?
It's like a social security number, you leave the last 4 digits available, but you redact the other. That protects the
Well,
card
so-
number itself, but it still allows you to identify what card is used.
What are the states that you give? Because this is my dilemma, because
My advice has been redact the other parts of the credit card, the secret 3 digits on the back,
Expiration.
the expiration date. But in order to identify, if you leave 4 of the numbers available and redact the others, I think that accomplishes
well, that's my point,
divulging
because the
the
issue, what do the states say
information,
to you?
The,
but protecting
the
the,
legal department said that we should give them the credit card number.
the whole number
Yep.
and expiration
Yep.
date.
See, I think that's
That
an
is
issue.
part of the publicity.
I have a issue with that.
Yeah, I do too.
I tell you, I'd rather see all the cards cut up before you start giving
Numbers.
credit card numbers, 3 digits,
Okay.
and expiration
Okay,
dates
let's
up,
do
because
that.
that's all you need. That's all you need
Yeah, they
to
can
do
get on the
start
phone and call.
nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so let's,
And next thing you know, everybody in Detroit and New York and
Yep.
Chicago are using it, and
Buying extra
yeah.
monster drinks.
It makes
The
probably
pain pills, yep.
Pain pills, yeah.
yeah, opioids.
okay. So this is an
But
issue.
if that information is out there, it's
Yep.
easily
Yes,
used.
okay, so then we need to make a motion.
So if somebody's going to say give it all out, then I would rather, you're going to do it, but I'd rather have it done on a card that's destroyed and canceled,
Yep.
because that will be used.
We need
I
to do
don't
that.
care about the credit card.
Okay, so whatever, I wanna make a motion to destroy the credit cards, and then we'll
Who
start
told you
over
that,
and
by the way?
restructure,
Oh,
because,
the attorney at the,
now that stuff's out there in the social
No,
media.
Don't all the
Yeah.
credit cards have, like John's credit card has, one of them has his name on it, that tells who used that card.
Well, sure.
Don't they all
do.
have
They
it?
do all do.
So-
Yeah.
You don't really need the credit card number, unless somebody asks for it, then maybe destroy, but I don't think anybody asks for the credit card number, they just wanna know who was that card issued
Okay, let
to.
me ask you this, Dan, just to be upfront and honest, I mean, when you copied it, did you redact the number?
It was already, I got copies made for me,
Did
And-
anybody get any numbers out there?
all but the last
No,
4 digits
no.
were redacted,
Yeah.
Okay,
which was fine.
yeah. So I was under understanding that they just copied the.
No, they didn't give out, to their
No,
credit, they
not.
didn't give out the entire number.
So, because when I read that, I thought that was a mistake, because that's just such a.
But at least the cards I asked for had the name of the
I
person.
really have to question that.
Yeah.
I don't care who's
Well,
office
I
she's-
question it too,
How old was she, by the way?
I mean, that's the, I don't know, I have to ask Gary, 'cause I asked Gary that.
How old was that lady?
Just said give the whole
She
card
was young.
information?
Yeah.
Shoot,
that's
right.
She was under 30, I think.
I mean, it defies common sense.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
It really does.
The last four
I think
numbers.
that, you know, if you give the last four digits and redact the other out, you have to have a card for some purposes.
Right.
You know, but I'll tell you what, my opinion, legal opinion as solicitor is it would be absolutely ridiculous to give the entire number out.
Right.
Expiration date
And
and the
then-
secret 3-digit
Yeah.
code, and I'm telling you not to. I'm telling you can do the last four digits and redact the other information, that's what you limit it to. And if the Attorney General's office wants to call and complain about it, then fine. At that point, let
Cut 'em
them
up.
figure out how we're gonna buy fire equipment and everything else.
Right.
But we'll cut up the cards before that information is released to the general public.
Right. I mean, when he just said that,
Now, I'm
can't
not
be doing that.
saying that's an official position of the Ohio Attorney General's office.
Well, I agree, but I mean, that's my position for right
But-
now unless I'm proved otherwise, because to me, from a common sense point
It
of view.
just defies common sense.
Yeah.
I think just
Yeah,
like
you're
a
right.
social security number, the identifiers, when we're going into court, there's a law saying to redact it, don't give out people's dates of birth, and I'll be real short, and social security numbers except for the last four digits. That's where we get the 4-digit rule, and that was implemented about 4 or 5 years ago. That's what I'm basing what I'm doing on, common sense in that rule, protecting but still allowing information to get out.
Scott,
Oh, pardon.
did you see the email from Stan, his request? I did not do that.
What?
He wanted all the credit card numbers.
Yeah, I read that.
But I don't think that's what's being requested now, correct?
No, I gave him each person's name and the last four.
I think that's
Like John
fine,
said,
that's
Yeah.
perfect,
If
yeah.
I'm giving someone my credit card number, that I'm not having a credit
Right.
card.
Right.
Just ask him for credit.
I mean, that was what Stan's original email, he wanted that,
Our-
first sunshine law.
It appears to me the only dispute is with the young attorney who gave that
Yeah.
seminar on
Right.
that particular
Yeah,
issue, but
yeah.
not with everybody else in
Yeah.
this room.
Right.
So if somebody differs, then we'll
No,
address it.
No,
at
because I
that
raised the
time.
flag right away, I thought that's wrong.
No, we're not.
No.
He's,
I can get it.
look.
Okay, keep going on this.
I just
Let's
making sure.
see if anybody else wants to
Anybody
talk.
else wanna talk?
I don't want to throw a card away.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
We got a motion.
Adjourn.
Okay. I gotta get home in time for my wife to get the third shift. Really? I got the kids to watch. It's like drop dead was in 5 minutes for me.
Don't speed.
No, I won't. I won't get there.
It may not take that long, but it'll
I know, I'll be. Yeah, let me get a copy of that.
Which one?
The one he read.
Kim, I gotta tell you something. You were the most perfect presentation, and in my years when I was doing sales presentations and that, you were so calm, collected, right to the point. I mean, you were perfect up there.
They want you to
Stumble
act
up.
like an idiot.
Exactly, and you were so far from
That's
that.
why I got up and said what I said to
You were
Gary.
so calm and collected, yet you made
Because
your
Joyce
points.
calls me nothing but being a troublemaker.
Mm-hmm. Well, their time's coming.
Yeah, I know it is.
I
They
had to
don't- they
bite
don't-
my lip.
They don't think it is.
Yeah, I know. They have no clue the freight train that's headed
Oh,
their way.
Joyce said she did. They says, well, who is it? I said, I can't say. Oh, I already know.
Oh, sure she does. Yeah, sure she does.
Thanks for everything, Stan.
Thank you. Oh, you want those monsters? Let me give them to you. I don't want them. I won't drink them. Well, maybe you can sell them to John.
I wanted to thank you too, but I figured if I did, it would just cause more.
Right. No. You were perfect in your presentation. I mean, incredible. It's awesome. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am going to call the I'm going to call Melissa Crocker and tell them what they said, that she's a dumbass.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, hey.
Sorry.
And also I'm going to tell her what Chuck Paul said.
Man, he really pushed it over the brink for me.
Oh, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, it was.
But what I'm saying is, I think.
Yeah, you're right, though. Really? Well, it's not the fact they're feeding the prisoners. It's that the credit card was used at the bar. Gary profited from the use of that credit card. It don't matter if he was feeding 4 female religious singers.
But Sean don't realize that's against federal, and I told them it's against federal and state statutes.
Yep, yep.
Rick Palau sat back and Mr. Chuck Hall is supposed to uphold the law, and he's letting him get away with that. And I'm going to bring that up to Melissa, and I'm going to talk to Sean about it.
You guys both did a great job up front. Calm, cool, collected, right on target.
Well,
I got to tell you, though, she was even more. You were great. She'd get a gold star.
Yeah,
she was calm, collected, bam, right between the eyes. It was very, very
But they
good.
acted like it was nothing.
Well,
They did, because they
have
had
no-
all their cronies here.
Yeah.
How many people really like
And
it?
those idiots clapping their hands. I couldn't care less if they want to clap their hands.
Who's got that tape? I need that tape.
Oh, it'll be recorded. I got an audio tape of everything, hearing it, but I didn't. But he's going to be posting it on the. I'll make sure I get a link.
Why didn't Rick bring up about the meter? About the water meter, his water meter? John said it was.
Oh, well, like he said, he's got 4 or 5 different issues that he wants to get answers to, but he.
But they made fun of put Moses meat on him. That now the preacher never laughed at that woman. Laughed at that guy.
Really? He didn't?
The other guy, the other preacher.
Yeah.
But Chuck Hall did. He laughed his ass off. He made comments after that lady left. Now he's supposed to be a fool.
Exactly.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
I sure wish I knew
but
who that lady was. I have no clue. Never seen her, never talked to her before. I'll try and find out.
I thought maybe you knew her.
No, I don't know her at all.
And then those people sat beside us. I think it was a big cassette. He thinks what he say. He tries to, but he isn't no council person.
Anyway, have a good evening.
See ya.
Talk to you soon. Thank you for tonight. Both did awesome. I mean, we really hit them right between the eyes. And I'm glad I bit my tongue. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm calling, what's his face? The one sits down on the end. Not True.
On the other end, Rob Toy.
Yeah, True.
Yeah.
Not the one that just showed up.
Sits next to Gary.
You know what he took and said?
Across from me.
You know what he said? He said to us in Walmart that Joyce should not even be sitting there. She should be gone.
Well, see, but he won't. He's just totally different in there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that lady nailed her. Said, "You are nasty."
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh my God, somebody finally caught it and said something.
Yeah, that's funny.
And they'll hear it on that video when it plays.
Well,
Everybody watches it. I wish
tell-
they could see that
I
woman.
want Sean to listen to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna listen to what I said.
Thanks for everything.
And then Chuck Hall got up there and say, there's no love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
what he
wait
said.
till he finds out.
Oh yeah.
If he only knew the FBI, yeah, I don't care what they say. I don't
Joyce
care
said
what
she
they
already
say.
knew.
If they knew the freight train that was coming down the tracks at them,
They'd be gone.
they
So
would
this
be.
cocksucker.
Oh yeah, he took now, and he's best friends with them. And man, he said so much shit about them. How he can't stand Chuck, how he can't stand Gary.
Yeah.
And now he's like best buddy with fucking John.
Incredible.
See, and they just don't get it. What the, I don't even read that shit. What's in the drink?
It doesn't matter if it's because it's monster drinks. It doesn't matter what they bought.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He used it.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what you should do? You should email Sean and tell him that they're trying to say that those drugs.
They're trying to make it all about me against the prisoners helping out.
Yeah,
And that's irrelevant.
Email Sean.
It could be a religious trio of women singers that they used it for. That isn't the point. It's the card being used at the bar. A, that's wrong, taking them into a bar, but B, it's wrong because Gary owns a bar, he profits from it.
Supposed to take minors, especially them druggies, into a fucking establishment that sells alcohol.
And I even
They
asked
should
that
get
preacher,
the goddamn-
do you think that's right, taking those people dealing with trying to get away from drugs, take them into a fucking bar? Is that?
They're all in there hugging, kissing.
See you soon. Talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.